All right, hello. We are now live. We're definitely live, just double checking. If you are watching the replay, thank you so much for choosing to watch this video today. Today is a very powerful video. We're going to be going through the Great Global Garden and a lot of the components with it. Now, the Great Global Garden is seeking to help restore every square inch of our planet, the sovereignty and freedom of the people, our soils, our ecosystems, the quality of food on our plate, wildlife, and a future for our children. So, in doing so, we are talking about a redesign of modern society. And within that, a term that I heard from a very powerful meeting that we just had is exploring what an enlightened society looks like. Okay, so right now on planet Earth, we are experiencing what we're experiencing. So the question that we are asking is what happens in the future when we're going to that place where we are free, sovereign, abundant, happy, joyful, in love, connected, and all of these wonderful things. So if that sounds like something that excites you, then please do stick around. We are going to be live for about 3 hours and 33 minutes. We're going to be having a lovely conversation with the beautiful people who are already here. And of course, we'll be going through some of the content. More importantly, today we're going to be going through sort of our 7 pages. Lucas, Michael, Annie and I have not finished them fully, but we are going to be exploring those pages and just going through a little bit about what they say. I'm going to be showing you a document that I created a long time ago, which was all about the full complete package of a homestead and every element that comes with that. There's probably quite a bit that could be added to it, but it's already about 200 pages, so we will be going through that, which will be very exciting because it's a powerful document. So as I say, if you're watching this after we're live, that's no problem at all. We'll still be doing our global peace meditations, which you'll be able to come and experience and join us. And in any other case, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. So, welcome everybody. It's an absolute pleasure for you all to be here again for what I believe is now our 13th live stream. Yeah, that's powerful. Very powerful. So, appreciate that very much, Deborah. This week has been extremely busy as usual. We're really starting to, like I say, I knew it was going to start ramping up, and it has. So the funding and the money has not come yet, and the support has not come, but we're doing our best. So for those of you who I haven't got back to, know that I love you very much. I will at some point in the future, notably a lot more when I get some help. So yeah, it's been a very powerful week though. We had a wonderful meeting. A guy drove all the way from Scotland. It's about 6.5 hours. He drove all the way down, and we spent 2 days with him. Michael and I went to Michael's, and we spent time here, and Annie was here for the first day. And we went through a huge amount. So not all of it I'll disclose because that's a bit of his business, but we're on the same page. We're on the same page. We're singing from the same hymn sheet, as people say, and we're really getting into it. So one powerful thing that came from that is exploring writing a brief that we can send to Welsh Government. So we got our homework cut out still. It hasn't stopped. We're still going, guys. So let's just do a double check. Testing. How is the volume today? Can you hear me okay? I appreciate that, Deborah. I've got a lot more sleep this time, so it's all good. We got a lot more sleep this time. So Yelena, Deborah, Joie de Vie, Gail, Anne. Let's have a look here. Zoichka, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolute pleasure. Blah, Katie. Anybody else who I haven't? Lenny, welcome, my friend. Absolute pleasure for you to be here. Thank you for tuning in. And if I've missed anybody, please let me know. Beverly, absolute pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, absolutely, Deborah. I feel that. I really do. We really are. We're gathering all of the information and components and at the minute that are vital for what we're talking about. So Annie, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Absolutely lovely. So alright then, guys, I'll be honest with you, there's that much to talk about today. I don't know where to start, so we're gonna figure things out. I've been busy all day doing the slides, so we've got plenty to go through. Like I say, I'll show you a brief, because we can have a look at the pages, but I think that's more appropriate when Lucas and I have really had a chance and an opportunity to go through things. you know. So, right, let's get into our introduction then, guys. Let me just move this over. Okay. So, today's topic is restoring the pristine origins, and as usual, David, brother, wherever you are, we appreciate you very much. I actually ended up watching the first couple of the Wisdom Teachings, the very first season, because I have downloaded a lot of them. The last set of seasons seem to be a little bit broken from the link. I'm not sure why that's the case, but you know, I'll try and fix that. But it works, so they've been absolutely loving it. The first episode was the piezoelectric crystals in the pineal gland, as well as a lot of other interesting things. So, like I say, if you haven't already, grab that link. We can pop that a little bit near the end. Definitely worth having a look. Mummy Malins, hello James and everyone. Sorry I'm late, I had problems with my phone. That's alright, Mum. I was hoping you were going to come in. I'm sorry I haven't messaged you today. I've been extremely busy trying to get these slides done, and I was still doing them right up to the last minute. So I love you lots, Mum. Sorry I haven't rang you yet. I'll give you a little call afterwards. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you. It's you're not too far away. Today's going to be very interesting, Mum. I'm going to go through the 7 pages a little bit, so not fully because we're not fully finished, but there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today, which is really powerful. So David, welcome my friend, thank you for tuning in. And Denise, hi everyone, looking forward to tonight's chat. Absolutely. Have you been you'll have to forgive if I'm being slightly ignorant here, Denise. Have you been here before? Have you watched before? I don't know if I remember seeing your name. If not, absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you for thinking about spending your Sunday afternoon, morning or evening with us. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, brilliant. Well, pleasure to have you here. So you've joined at the perfect moment. We're about to go through our usual beginning process where we keep up with everything we've done. Trinity, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Absolute pleasure. Wonderful, guys. Absolutely wonderful to see you all. So, as always, it's an absolute pleasure to be holding this space with you every week. You know, this is what David used to do. Going back over his wisdom teachings is really giving me some nostalgia. You know, I used to watch him on one screen. I used to work on another one. But I've actually, this time around, watching his wisdom teachings, I'm focusing on watching it, and I'm putting into my little document all of the information from his content, you know, because I jumped to the later seasons to have a look what he was talking about, and what's interesting is I came across the golden ratio pyramid technology. Nikolai Glodov, David would have told you the name perfectly, but that is very interesting, and I've found quite a few interesting websites about the structure of a golden ratio copper pyramid, and I would like to look at doing that at some point. I actually found some copper pipes on Facebook Marketplace for £60. I don't have that at the minute, but that's a steal for creating a copper pyramid. Elena, would you let me know which one is the right one? Alana, I think might be it, so you'll have to let me know. Welcome, thank you for tuning in. If anybody's new here, please do pop in the comments, let us know. We have a wonderful community here. No doubt a lot more people will come and join, which does remind me, let me just pop into my stories at the minute that we are live. I'll just pop this over, share it on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure that's uploaded. I'll pop it into a couple of others, and there is one more place where I need to post it. So thank you for your patience, guys. Bear with me. This always, you know, a few people do come across because they see this side of things. So I like to make sure that we honour all of our people. So post that across, and that should be it. Brilliant. Okay then. So that's all that done. So coming back, let's go to OBS, make sure we're all good, only slight dropping of frames, excellent, everything's all good. So this is our 13th live stream, so if you are new here, Tree Dog, welcome, thank you for tuning in. You're right, it's my first time here, it's a pleasure, wonderful, thank you for joining in. We do have a wonderfully loving group of people here. We'll be live for 3 hours and 33 minutes, that's a long time, so for as long as you can join us, it'll be an honour for you to be here. So we do our meditations, and as usual, Zoran's mom coming in with the beautiful $20 donation. I appreciate that very, very much. It's very humbling. Thank you so much for supporting me, Zoran. That's really, really sweet of you. you. Zorin says, looking forward to another great show. Well, can I tell you, we have a great show for you today, because we are going to be exploring the redesign of modern society into an enlightened society, or the restoration of the pristine origins. So it's going to be a conversation about what all of us are owed from birthright, that is a parcel of land and everything that comes with it. So we'll be going through our 7 pages which we've been working on. We really are making this a global initiative and a global movement. We are in the absolute early stages, but we had a very fascinating conversation Thursday, Friday, which I'll share a bit more as more people come in. Lydia, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, Zorin, very, very kind of you. Let me just give that a love heart. Give that a love heart. And very sweet of you to support me again. So, as I say, guys, this is our 13th live stream. You can have a look here. The very first one was honouring David. We've gone through things like the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy, the Global Garden of Peace, which ironically, Sunday the 17th of May was roughly where this name was born, right? So we then eventually got to the Great Global Garden, and then we went through the unification of humanity, the pathway to peace, sovereignty in the natural person, the pristine origins, and now we're on about the restoration of those origins. So yeah, absolutely, blah. We've got a lucky number today, which is not many people know that. Obviously, it's usually associated with an unlucky number, but we know different, don't we? So, all right then, guys. Last week's live stream, we went through different variations of the pristine origins. Ironically, because I've used the pictures, I can't remember the full topic. That was it. We went through a lot of ancient individuals, both religious and cultural, who are said to have gone into the wilderness. So in Christianity, we had in Buddhism, in Taoism, in many different places, individuals would go into the forest, into the deserts, into the wilderness for 40 days and nights, for 7 years, for extended periods of time. And through this period of time, it is said that they had sort of inner awakenings, they had their minds opened, they were able to come into a deeper level of harmony and balance within themselves. And so the question that we asked is, if this is true, let's just say, for argument's sake, if this is true, if millions of families were given a 2.5 acre forest garden to exist in, what would happen to our consciousness? What would happen to our societies? What would happen to our people? And where would we end up? So it's a very, very fascinating topic, one that I'm very passionate about. I think that the more we get people living back in harmony with nature, the more we will see the best versions of people. Because this is the big thing. A lot of people are quite disheartened, a little bit fearful about the state of the world, because they see that people are not upholding these high levels of values, these high morals, these principles which lead to a path of goodness and decency. Okay, we all know what it feels like when we're dealing with somebody who's kind and compassionate and loving and caring and patient, and we certainly know what it feels like when we're dealing with the opposite. And I think most people here will agree the initial love and kindness and compassion is the way to go. You know, that's what feels beautiful, and it's what makes the world turn. Okay. A real creation. Need a trip to the desert to reconnect soon as monsoons hit. Wow, that's incredible. Would you remind me, where are you based again? Monsoon rains. I bet that's nice to experience, at least. Asana, sorry for the late arrival. Wife, that's no problem at all. You've arrived just on time. We're only just getting into it, so thank you for coming back, Asana. Absolute pleasure. Love you very much, as I love you all very much, so thank you for being here. We also looked at that idea of the toroidal field and the yin and yang again, and we explored the story of the priest and the slaves. So if you do want to go back and have a look at that, we do obviously have the live stream saved. But that was a very fascinating conversation. Now, ironically, I would love to share with you the prison story in the Anastasia books today. So today we are, I'll just come over to the main camera a second. So today I would like to explore with you the prison story from book 7. The only problem is it's about 30 pages. So I don't know what that's going to be like. You know, that might be an hour's reading just right there. So we'll have a look and see how we get on. Let's come back. And then, of course, coming over to our meditation schedule for today. Oh, no, sorry. This is our information schedule. So it's our 13th live stream. Today, we will finally be exploring the design of modern society and what it may begin to look like. We will be exploring our emotions, bodies, minds, and spirits, being a part of that whole. Your land, home, food, water, air are another part of that whole. The village having its own components which make up the whole, like the mill, bakery, clothing, etc. For anybody who is new, you will have to bear with me with some of the grammar. We've been working so hard. It's just me that makes these slides, so I do my best to make sure they are chef's kiss professional, but it doesn't always happen. One day they will be. We will also be exploring the county, which starts to look after different levels of wholeness and completeness in terms of the world we are seeking to create. Now, ironically, I have been a little bit more busy, so what we are going to be talking about today is the whole package of an enlightened society and what it looks like when we restore the Great Global Garden at different levels. Okay, so like I say, it's we're going to go into this. Soul Coach Suzanne, love to everyone, bless. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for tuning in. Pleasure for you to come back. I hope your week has been good. Been busy here again on our end. All of this and more we are going to explore in the next few live streams. So today's meditation schedule, we will do 5 meditations roughly every 42 minutes. We do like to flow, but we make sure that we honor those meditation slots because the meditation effect is very powerful. We will have a visceral effect on the world. And actually, so I have something very interesting to share with you that my mother shared with me. So I'm just going to come full screen here a moment. I know I'm flipping back and forth. So my mum follows a lady called Nikki Allen. My mum can share a little bit more in the comments. But she told me that in one of her recent, she's a UK-based medium, so, quite well renowned. I haven't watched too much of what she said myself, but she mentioned. So I live in Snowdonia at the base of the mountain. Okay, so I live right in the heartland of Snowdonia in North Wales, and apparently my mum can confirm this. But in her most recent sort of reading or channeling or meditation, she mentioned that she could feel North Wales. She could feel Snowdonia, and she could feel very powerful stuff happening with gardens and land and things like this. Well, I'm in Snowdonia. We just spent 20 hours talking about the liberation of humanity and the restoration of the Great Global Garden. I think there's a slight chance that we might be being picked up in the ethers. So there is a little bit of a chance that we're being picked up on that meditation effect. Okay, the 100th monkey, where certain monkeys on an island would engage in a behaviour, and monkeys on another island that would never have seen what they've done start behaving in the same way. Okay, this is an example that we are all connected on a conscious level. It is an example that we are all connected on a very deep and profound level. And so, as I say, supposedly this lady was channeling and she's talking about Snowdonia, North Wales, gardens, and very powerful stuff happening. Okay, so we are talking about contacting Welsh Government in time with a brief which will allow Wales to become the first ethical country. That means we are living back on the land, connected with the land, uniting people with their 2.5 acres, restoring the ecosystems, and all things like that. Sorry, I got slightly distracted there. Yelena says, Nikki also said another war like things in ex-Yugoslavia where I live. Well, I can't speak for sure, but I just found that interesting. Bernie says, hi everybody, now my 4th time I am here in this stream and stay for hours. I am from Austria. Thanks for doing this. It is an absolute pleasure. Thank you for spending this time with us. Very, very kind of you, and it is lovely to have you here. So, yeah. And David says, the Gila wilderness is beautiful. Amazing. I might have missed what you mentioned there. Gaia, is that what you meant? Sorry if I got that wrong. If you're on about Gila wilderness, I'd love to know where that is. So yeah. Alright then guys, coming back to our full monitor. So as usual, 5 meditations. We will start with David. So our dear David, like I say, we're over 3 months now that that David hasn't been with us. Brizzy, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome. Brizzy and Tree Dog, did you get my message? Thank you so much for your very kind donation through the GoFundMe. I did reply, and so you should have got an email. I hope you did, because it was very kind of you, and I appreciate you very much. So thank you for the support. Very, very kind. Meditation number 2 will be envisioning the future that we are creating and our place in it. I think that's quite fitting for what our conversation today. As usual, we will do our I am with you prayer halfway through. If you're new here, I look forward to you experiencing that. It's something that we've done almost every live, and it's something that I'm very excited about. Meditation number 4 will be a global peace meditation for empowerment. And finally, we will end tonight's session with David Wilcock again. So we'll end the session with David, and we will have our wonderful goodbyes, as we usually do, ready for our week that we're about to experience up until next Sunday. So just keep in mind, after every meditation, we like to share one thing we're grateful for, one thing that came to us. You know, it helps us become very present, and it helps us hone in on that meditation effect, you know, because it's happening. If Nikki Allen genuinely is picking up on what we're talking about, which I find, it doesn't surprise me, but I do find that mind-blowing, that supposedly on that YouTube live she was talking about Snowdonia, and I couldn't live any closer to the heartland of Snowdonia. If I, you know, it would take me an hour and a half to walk up the top of the mountain from where I live, you know, so very, very, very powerful. Healer, right, I see. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, I'll yeah, very, very curious. Well, I'll have to Google that afterwards, because I'm not sure I've heard of that place before. Very interesting. Appreciate that, Suzanne. By the way, I've been to Wales many years ago to visit friends and go around the country coaching lacrosse for the Welsh lacrosse organisation that they ran. They paid for me to come over for 10 days. That's fantastic. I bet that was an absolutely wonderful experience to have. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And Brizzy, Tree Dog, appreciate you and love you both very much. That means a lot to me. You know, we've been busy. You know, I have not stopped in 3 months, but I tell you, we are making absolutely incredible progress because of all of the posts and videos. That's what attracted a wonderful woman called Elaine. She put us in touch with this gentleman from Scotland, and like I say, we spent about 18 or so hours with him over Thursday, Friday, and he's right on the level. You know, I won't share his stuff yet because that will be in time, but he's doing it, we're doing it. Something's happening, all right? Something's happening. So today's topic, the Great Global Garden. That is what we're talking about. So 6 weeks or so ago, we gave birth to the idea of the Great Global Garden. We all personally explored the idea of the Garden of Eden and that origin story. So we did that in one of our live streams. And through that exploration, we realised that the name of this movement is staring at us right in the face. It is a movement which includes every square inch of the earth, the sovereignty and freedom of our people, our soils, ecosystems, wildlife, the quality of food on our plate, and our children's future, all through ethical forest garden villages. Okay? It is a whole, complete and total solution for the entirety of the state of the world. It is looking at every level of modern society and how we return that society to the pristine origins. Now, let's take that fancy word out of there, the pristine origins. It is a return to what is rightful. It is a return to what is good and decent, and it is a return to freedom and sovereignty. Okay, at the minute, the vast majority of us are not free because we are having to play a system that we never really subscribed to. Okay? I think you will agree that for a lot of you guys, we were brought up in the school system, in the education system, and that is a conveyor belt to make sure that people remain feeding the system, right? Our time as slaves, excuse me, I've got a little bit of a fizzy drink here, so if I'm, I will try to be very polite. It's very nice though, thank you, honey. The vast majority of people are working in the system. They have a job in order to keep that system going. Now, I commend a lot of you because it's a survival mechanism, okay? It's what we're having to do to survive because the other opportunity has been stripped from us in the most heinous ways. So over the past 1,000 years and some, the past 100,000 years, but let's just talk about the past 1,000 years. We have had to endure land being stolen from our ancestors, our fruit trees, and all of the things that have supported us being removed, so that we are completely and utterly, totally reliant and dependent upon the system. That has to change. For our children to have a future, for us to be able to live free, we have to restore that forest garden. Okay, the forest garden is a 7-layered system which works impeccably. It works to bring itself balance and harmony so that we can do less and less work every year. The less and less work you're having to do to survive, the more and more that you're enjoying living life, being a creative, sovereign being, creating life with your partner, painting, singing, contemplating the nature of reality in the universe, loving your neighbour, whatever it is that draws your heart, it gives you more time to do it. At the minute, we have to do what we have to do. Louise, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolute pleasure for you to be here. Thank you for spending this time with us. Wonderful. So, coming back. So, this movement looks at every single layer of society and the way of our world. Now, what I'm about to show you might not be all of it, okay? But it's very interesting. Whoops, apologies. It's very interesting because a lot of this is still, you know, this is the major bulk of it, but there's more, you know. Robert, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Absolute pleasure. Let me know if you've just started commenting. Let me know where you're from. It would be lovely to know. Obviously, I'm over here in Snowdonia, so let me know in the comments below. So we're looking at every single layer of society and the way of the world. We're looking at economics, history, the personal level, the social structure, air, food, water, empowerment, soil, governments, natural law, education, ethics, raising a family, resources, values, sovereignty, energy, waste, healthcare, children, infrastructure, culture, rightful living, body, mind and spirit, religion, agricultural processes, ecological processes, community, medicine, and indigenous wisdom. Okay, so we've talked about the whirling rainbow prophecy about probably about 9 weeks ago. We talked about the whirling rainbow prophecy. We've talked a lot in our live streams about ancient cultures, ancient religions, things that happened to the Akkadian Empire, things that happened to the Roman Empire. We've explored the rise and downfall of civilizations and why that happened, and the vast majority of time it was deforestation. So you can go into our past live streams and you can see that we have gone through a lot of information and content about that. That slide is on here, so it explains whereabouts that will be. But yes, we explored the rise and downfall of civilizations, and the vast majority of the time is because they cut down their forests. Okay, when you cut down your forests, you absolutely decimate the ecological processes of that landscape, and slowly but surely you make more and more work for yourself until you have to move. Okay, and this has been the big problem. You won't be able to see it there, but if I just close this, so you can see there we've got energy, infrastructure, religion, and community. Okay. Now, you might ask, why religion? Well, because these things are very prevalent in society. So the concept that we have focused on a lot is the whirling rainbow prophecy. It is the idea of every nation, every culture, every creed, every person coming together in unity. The principles of that prophecy are healing the land, wisdom, unification, peace, love and harmony. Okay, that's really the main 4 elements of that prophecy. And ironically, we're exploring every single one of those because we have to. Okay, so it's just very ironic that that prophecy is kind of very much linked to what we're sharing. So, yeah, very interesting. Amber, welcome. Thank you for being here. Good day, James, and everyone. Peace be with you, and may you cultivate my peace and love within yourself. Wonderful. I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing. Very, very kind of you. So, yes, we are on a very, very powerful topic today. Oopsie. Now, another thing I wanted to share, and I've already spoiled it. There we go. There are many ways to grow food and ecosystems in our world, but one of them is the umbrella for all the others. Forgive the spelling mistake. Can you guess which one? So drop in the comments. I've already revealed it to you, so if you were paying attention, you're going to write it pretty much straight away. Can you guess which ecological growing modality encompasses every single other growing modality? So pop it in the comments. I'll give you about 60 seconds. B-Bar. B-Bar. Love that name. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. We've got some new people in today, in this week. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming and spending the time with us. Really, really fantastic. So, like I say, guys, I'll give you about 60 seconds. There's a bit of a delay, I know that. So, what do you think? Can you guess what is the growing modality that pretty much encompasses every single other growing modality on the planet? Any guesses? Any takers? Step right up. Get your guesses here. 3 guesses for £5. It can't be this delayed, surely. Anybody at all? Well, if I reveal it and you comment, then I'm assuming the delay's really far. I know there's a 10-second delay. Anyway. Trees or mycelium? Ah, no, there's no I promise you, that's a sparkling water mineral drink. That's all this drink is. Someone says trees or mycelium. Terrified of being. That's absolutely being wrong is the most perfect thing we can be because it's the room for growth and learning. A real creation says forest gardens. Deborah says the global garden, of course. There you go. Asana says lol sparkling. I promise you, it is a aqua carpatica flavoured sparkling beverage with natural mineral water, lime juice, and mint extract. Very, very nice. Water. That's actually interesting. Water's a very good answer. Very, very good. Gail says electricity, which is also a very good answer. All right, guys. Now I might be wrong. I might just be. I could be very pedantic, But to me, call this a right or wrong answer. To me, it is the food forest or the forest garden. All right. So it's very much interestingly connected to the Garden of Eden. So for all of you that said water, you're absolutely right. For all of you that said electricity, you're right. And you want to know why? Because there is something called electroculture, which is in this slide. So you're going to see that momentarily. And electroculture is about harnessing the ether. Okay? It is about harnessing the... It's interesting because I do have to go over my terms again. But it is about harnessing the energy of the atmosphere and bringing it down into the soil. Okay, so you'll notice that we have the aurora borealis for a reason because our atmosphere is electromagnetic. So it's very interesting. Magnetism and electricity, absolutely. For those of you that said forest garden, absolutely, you're on the money. And mycelium and trees is dead right. Okay, you're absolutely right. No pun intended, because mycelium likes to take care of our decaying trees and logs. Electroculture is amazing. It is indeed. Suzanne, welcome. Hi, James, Thomas, Suzanne, Asana. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you very much. Oh, I love that, Yelena. Yelena says, I have asked my mum and dad. They had their garden for 36 years. We survived the war thanks to that garden and orchard on my grandfather's land. That is incredible. I love to hear that. Absolutely love it. A carnival barker is our brother James. What's a carnival barker? Hydroponics. Yeah, that's a good one. Nice. That's very good. So yes, forest gardens, whether we're talking about agroforestry, biointensive mini farming, so I'll go through the list here. So whether we're talking about crop rotation, electroculture, which is hidden. Let me just take my camera out of the way. Whether we are talking about biodynamic farming, biointensive mini farming, permaculture, syntropic farming or agroforestry, cover cropping, polycultures, bokashi composting, hugoculture, syntropic farming, oopsie, that's in twice, apologies, no-dig, nature farming, companion planting, vermiculture, intensive pruning, rewilding, guilds, consortium planting, the one straw revolution, or regenerative farming. It does not matter what we are talking about as far as I'm concerned. It is included in the idea of the forest garden, because the forest garden is the total and complete ecological system which works to provide us with the hands-free... Let me come back here a sec. It is designed to give us that hands-free system which allows us to live our life. Okay, so it does take a little bit of time. The beautiful thing is that syntropic agroforestry is very good, as well as intensive pruning. The gentleman who we met was very much in alignment with that. That's one of his primary focuses, because it does such a phenomenal job of restoring the soil and quickly getting us up to levels of abundance. Trinity says, is this based on scientific evidence? Absolutely. There is no other if you think about ecology itself, the forest garden is a total and complete system. Now, yes, the ocean itself is, of course, another equally complete system, but the fact that we live on land, this is why I'm focused on that one mostly, of course. You know, so forest gardens, it's every layer of the forest. So it is the top tree layer, the lower tree layer, it is the shrub layer, herbaceous, the ground cover, the root layer, and the vine. Okay, so we are creating total and complete systems, not just for ourselves, but for our soil, our ecology, and wildlife. So that's the big part about ancient indigenous wisdom. It is about a reconnection with ourselves to our lands. Okay, this is the whirling rainbow prophecy. This is the what we explored with New Zealand and with Australia. All of our many Aborigine cultures, many indigenous cultures, they all speak about harmony in connection with the land. Okay, so a lot of Southern America, Latin America, a lot of those locations, they have a wonderful harmony with their forests, with their rivers, with their lands, and that's been under attack for a very long time. So welcome, Mark. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you very much. A very powerful question, Trinity. I do have actually some images prepared. Unfortunately, they are AI images, AI information images, which is obviously, it is against what we're talking about, but they were created by somebody else. Okay, so I found them on Instagram, and they are absolutely fantastic. So they are fantastic in explaining specifically syntropic farming or syntropic agroforestry. But the other thing that I have is my notes for forest gardening. So 1 second, let's just see what we'll go into that in just a moment. So the reason why I got this available for you, let me just do that. Where are we? Close those down. All folder images. Here we go. So within forest gardening, I wanted to do a little bit of showing the exact things here. So you'll see, can you guys see that okay? It's very hard because it's A4. So let me know, is that too difficult to see? What I'll do is I'll zoom in a bit because this one's a tall one. So you can see here you have the tall tree layer, you have the low tree layer, we've got the shrub layer which is lower down, the herb layer, ground cover, below this will be the root layer, and then you'll see up here on the right hand side here, oopsie, we have our vine layer. Okay? So again, this is the layers of the forest. A better example is right here. So you'll see, and if you ever want to go back, you can screenshot this. I could, you know, I could certainly show you. But this is from a beautiful book called The Edible Forest Gardens by Dave Jack and Eric Tonsmere. So this is that book here. Let me just come over to our main camera. So if you can save this where, absolutely, Trinity. So this live will be available on the live section of my YouTube. We have every pre-recorded live, the lives that we've done, they are all in that section. So can I save this video? Need to watch it a couple of times. Do live stay? Yes, they do. So I would adore for you to watch this again. Of course, we are going to be eventually finishing our 7 pages, and you know, this is going to be my education material. But if you're ever interested, Trinity, this book here, Edible Forest Gardens. Right there, yep. Edible Forest Gardens Volume 1. There is a second volume, which is in my book box. Ecological Vision and Theory for Temperate Climate Permaculture. Dave, Jack, and Eric Tonsmere. These are Bibles. These are hands down, absolutely phenomenal Bibles. Sorry. The other one, which I cannot reach at the minute, is my permaculture book. So it's by Bill Mollison. I just knocked it again. Sorry. So those books very much connect us to the future of humanity. So, you know, in our lives, we've done a lot of revisiting over ancient history, what that looks like in modern society, and now we really are talking about a very practical and very real path forward to sovereignty and freedom. Do I know what's going to happen in the world? No. All I know is that I am here to help bring peace on earth, just like you are. Why do I say that? I didn't mean to say that in a way to inflate myself. I will do the very best that I can with my human self to help facilitate peace on earth. Why? Because I don't have children yet, and I will not bring children into this world until I have a space for that child to be nurtured. Right now, I would bring that child into this world and they would be put into a debt-slave system. That is not something that I'm particularly comfortable with. I'm sure a lot of you probably feel the same way. Now, if you do have children, at the minute, that's absolutely miraculous, because we need those beautiful souls to be coming forward. My dear mother and father had me, and now I'm here, right? So I'm not saying don't have children, but I'm just saying that that's what I'm feeling now. There is going to be a demonstration, and I do believe, and the Anastasia books go into this in quite significant detail. Whether you think they're total fantasy nonsense or not, there is a lot of rational, practical stuff in there that I find very, very interesting. So, Asana, that's a very, very sweet comment. Thank you for that. You are a light in this world, James. That's wonderful. I appreciate that very much. It's very nice to say. Lily, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I have seen your wonderful Facebook group, Lily, in the Messenger. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to engage in there further. As you'll probably find out from this live, I've been absurdly busy. So, yes, Trinity, if you are still here, you can save this live and hopefully it will be of great help and benefit to you. Gail, I agree, Asana. Sorry if I missed any important comments there, guys. James, do you think that there really was a world tree that reached the sky? Nah, this is very interesting, because we are going to start touching on topics that last week we've sort of slightly moved away from, but I have to admit that some of those mountains, is it Devil's Mountain, that looks like it's been cut, it's a tree that's been cut? I find that very interesting, don't you? Shall we just put that one there? Yeah? I find that very curious. They definitely do look like tree trunks. Is it ridiculous to think that life was perhaps a little bit different? You know, how many ancient stories do you have of giants? Yeah? It's not really a topic I particularly invest in myself, for no other reason, but in a lot of biblical history, in a lot of other ancient cultures, in a lot of, you know, supposed things that have come forward, they found giants' bones, you know, over here in Wales. In fact, it's not far out there, because there's literally a copper mine in Wales that has a giant axe, and they have it on display. They have this giant axe on display to suggest that giant people use giant axes. So that's mainstream, modern, in your face kind of, it's here in North Wales. I've visited and seen it for myself. So, you know, maybe there's some truth to it. And, you know, where did the inspiration from Avatar come from? Yeah, Avatar's a wonderful movie. You know, apart from the last 3. The first one's really good, and they progressively get worse. I think. The last one was awful. It was just, you know, they brought in all these debaucherous kind of moralities, and it's like, where are we going with this? But, absolutely, Deborah, let's not forget the giant redwoods in Northern California. You're absolutely right, without a doubt. They are genuinely, truly giant trees. Yeah. Yes, Trinity, these data centers and AI will damage, pollute more, course, absolutely. And this is why we're working so hard, so that we can stop these data centers. Which, let me get back into the content, because we're going to cover that a little bit today. Also, other really powerful things is looking at, you know, again, ecologically, how we design, you know, so this is how you design forest gardens. Good job I checked that. Isn't that because you guys will be wondering what's he talking about? Hold on. There we go. So this is again how you design. So we've got the shrub layer, the herbaceous layer, and tree cover. So you can see when you're designing how these overlap over each other. Very, very interesting. This is Robert Hart's forest garden. So that was what it looked like. So you can see his house there. So it's not a massive area. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is only 0.2 acres. 0.2, is that correct? Let me have a look here. Doesn't say on this page. About 0.2, and he was getting a huge yield out of this. It should say around here somewhere. I should know this off by heart, but just you'll have to bear with me. So this just shows over time the development of his forest garden and how beautiful it is. Again, we see here different species growing together and what happens with their root systems. You know, so you can see this this European pear. Look at how far the roots go. Look at how deep the roots go. Yeah? So this is how you build ecological stability. This will weather drought. It will weather floods. It's a fully complete ecological system. Okay, this shows you the food web energy. We won't go into this fully. This is just I'm briefly showing you this. And again, you'll see here, this is what late succession looks like, which means the very, you know, from year 1 to year 150, you know, from sapling to mature tree. Late succession is mature tree. Early succession is sapling. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? So early succession is saplings and little herbs and things like that. Late succession is full trees with full canopy shade. Okay? That's irrelevant. You see what I mean about the AI? So this is AI, but it was written very good. It was written very good. But we'll move on from that anyway. So another element before we get into the 7 pages is this right here. So this is very much the economical. Can you see that okay? I can bring myself out a second. So this is the economical, the ecological, and the ethical benefits of this forest garden village system. Okay, so we are talking about villages approximating 150 people. That's up for debate. You know, that could mean that you've got roughly 45 2.5 acre plots and maybe a 20-30 acre community, give or take a 20 acre community hub. You've got green corridors connecting these domains. You've got wild spaces around the villages, you know, so that's what we're talking about. We are talking about returning people to the land. So you've got a reduction in monthly expenses, localization, which is instead of you getting your tomatoes from southern Spain, you're getting your tomatoes from 50 meters down the road. Okay, so to ship tomatoes all around the world costs an absurd amount of energy, resources, when you can grow them 10 meters away. Why do we ship tomatoes all around the world? Profit and greed. That is why. Okay, there is no reason why we can't look after ourselves. Don't forget about Dig for Victory. Okay, Dig for Victory is that initiative that was born in 1939, just at the start of World War II. In 3 years, they had 20 million people growing vegetables. 3 years. 20 million people growing vegetables. 3 years. Okay? They went from 440,000 allotments to 1.5 million allotments. They were growing vegetables around the Tower of London. They were growing vegetables in schoolyards, in parks, down the verges of areas. They were growing vegetables everywhere. And you know what? Reportedly, an American professor came over and was absolutely astounded at the health of the people. What does that tell you? If that can happen once, why is it not happening again? Okay, why do we have industrial agriculture, which is one farmer to 1,000 to 10,000 acres of land, using mechanized, pesticide, chemical-reliant agriculture to desolate our lands and ecology, when we would have a minimum of 20 million willing people, men, women and children, putting their hands in the soil to grow what is rightfully ours, okay? That's what we're talking about. We are going back there, and there isn't anybody on this planet who's going to stop us getting there, because we are here to return our people to paradise on earth. We are here to restore peace on earth. So again, paradise on earth sounds very utopian, doesn't it? I've had that a little bit. Utopian, delusional, blah, blah, blah. There are people in our world doing it. In one of our live streams, we did explore the fact that there are forest gardens that already exist right now that are proving it. Graham Bell, rest in peace, my friend, he's passed away now. Him and his partner Nancy Bell were growing 1.25 tons of food on 0.2 acres of forest garden. 1.25 tons of food. That's staggering. And remember, that's not just food that we're talking about from a supermarket, because a supermarket, the food has been sat on the shelves for weeks on end. You know, it's been detached from the plant for a long time, which means that over time, the life force energy, which has gone from it, okay, again, that sounds a little bit far out there. You know, we're very far out there people, but let's just be level-headed and ground it. So why do we know this? Because the fruit eventually rots. Okay, we've got apples on our trees at the minute, and they're just continuously growing because they are connected to life and nutrients and water and growth hormones. Okay, so when we are able to pick 6 apples off the tree and bake an apple pie right from the tree within 20 to 25 minutes, that kind of food is vastly superior for your mind, body, spirit and emotional state of being than a supermarket bought apple will ever be. Doesn't matter if it's organic or it's got a little label on it said that it was grown with the minute it's detached from the tree for extended periods of time, it is losing its life force energy minute by minute, hour by hour. It is absolutely, B-bar is right on the money. It is devoid of good nutrition. So they do say that the amount of tomatoes we have to eat now compared to 60 years ago is about 50. So you have to eat 50 tomatoes to get the same out of 1 tomato. Now, I don't have slides on the science for that, which is a right shame. We'll probably do that next week. But you might say to me, well, okay, James, how would you know that? Well, if you think about it logically, ecological systems, the forest garden, they have many different species of plant which bury their roots deep and they pull that nutrients up to the surface to be readily available to plants. Okay? So certain plants are called dynamic accumulators, and they bring that nutrients up and out of the soil to the surface of the soil so that trees can make use of it, so that other species of plant can make use to it. Now, if you rip that system up with combine harvesters and tillage tractors and tillage machines, you are constantly ripping apart the mycelial network, if it even exists anymore. You're constantly ripping apart the root systems and root networks. If you're only growing one type of vegetable or one type of plant, you're only benefiting from that one species, which nowadays has been heavily genetically modified. So that means that you're still not getting the best version of it. So when we're talking about forest gardens, you could have 1,000 species. Yeah? You could have 1,000 species growing in your forest garden, all doing their own job, all doing their own role, all fitting the system perfectly. I did see the comment about liking the chef's kiss. Right? So that's why we have to restore our forests. Okay? Taking down this forest is the greatest, stupidest event that has happened in our world and for the entirety of ancient history. Okay? Our forest gardens are what provide us with true food security. People say no farmers, no food. I would change that to say continue farming, you're not going to have food. Okay? We're going to have to say no gardeners, no food. We have to become gardeners, and we have to become gardeners in the millions. And that's what we're doing with the Great Global Garden. We're not just sitting back talking about this. We are developing briefs. We are developing the 7 pages. We have a gentleman who's come down who's doing a wonderful job. He's now looking at working with us. Things are happening. Okay, I'm working my tushy off to continue to make this happen, and I won't stop until I die. Dramatic. Sorry, guys. I will get to the I will get to the comments in just a moment. Enlightenment 101. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I read The Magnesium Miracle years ago, and the opening blew me away. They were talking about mineral depletion through improper farming practices a long, long time ago. Yes, they were. You're absolutely right. And it's completely insane that it's left to this point for change to happen. You know, so we really do. The whole objective that we have is to unite millions of people. Okay, if we can unite millions of people, get either a petition or whatever, like the digital ID, it had like 5 million signatures in a week and a half or something insane like that. If we can do the same thing with what we're talking about here and get millions of signatures connecting to this, we can really bring change. That gives us leverage and it gives us power, because then we can start to continue this conversation until people turn around and say, I've had enough. I will literally not go to work until this change has happened. Okay, so they can forget their Agenda 2030. They can shove that so far up the crevice of the, what do you call it, the Grand Canyon, that they ain't going to see it for 1,000 millennia. Yeah, nobody cares about it, and it ain't happening, because we are going to help restore what's necessary. So, Nicky Allen, if you didn't hear that one, I'm sure you will this week. The ethers have picked that one up. All the mediums on YouTube are going to be like, my goodness, it's very warm in Snowdonia. What's happening? There's something happening over there. Oh, sorry, guys. I tell you what, this isn't alcoholic, but whatever's in it, it's damn good. What kind of minerals have we got in here? Natural mineral water from an aqua source, agave syrup, carbon dioxide, lime juice, natural lime flavouring. Wonderful. Well, it's working, that's for sure. Again, guys, I want to appreciate you very much, because, of course, you're spending your wonderful, precious time with me. You know, you're hearing from my voice, you're hearing from my face on this screen. You know, it's also very... I understand you all have this mission too. You all have your own missions and your own purpose, doing wonderful, beautiful things in the world, even by just existing. So I want to thank you for allowing me to talk to you, to be present with you. It's very, very kind, you know, and I really enjoy being with you in this space. And will you look at that? We're 15 minutes late for our first meditation, because I wouldn't shut up. My goodness. Isn't that... Wow, okay. Right, let's... Sorry, guys. We're gonna have a couple of meditations quickly after the other. So let me just come over here. And we'll come over to our dear brother David. Alright, guys. Sorry, Lenny. I'll bring that up in just a moment, and I'll try and get back to the comments shortly. It's interesting because last week this week we got an absurd amount of content, but it's powerful because I'm doing theatrical performances with Lucas at the end of July through August. So I'm going to do my best to do every single Sunday, but one of those weekends we're doing it Saturday and Sunday. And I think that I would get home literally almost before the live would start, and it's going to be very tiring. So there might be 1 week where I don't go live, but every other one we should have enough content for every single week. So brilliant. Anyway, let's come over, spend some time with our brother David. So that was a very fiery, powerful, energetic conversation. So what I'd like to invite you to do, take a nice deep breath in. And as we breathe out, just relax. That's no problem at all, Asana. I will give you guys next week a very good idea of what's happening. So we are doing our first performance next week, which is very interesting. So it will only be for August. Take a nice deep breath in, guys. Get yourself nice and relaxed. Okay.
That was very funny, Deborah. Absolutely, David. Excellent point. Let's cover that in just a moment, my friend. Alright then, guys, I will turn off my microphone and camera and let's spend a little bit of time with David. I'll see you in just a moment. Give us a little splash screen, get that going. And we'll do a nice long one here because we have the time. Anyway, we are moving through a lot of positives here. There's a lot of good things happening. So let's now put both feet flat on the floor. Let's start our. So we are. Awesome show, David. Thank you, Farter. Anyway, we are moving through a lot of positives here. There's a lot of good things happening. So let's now put both feet flat on the floor. Let's start our global peace meditation. David, here we go. Actually, let's, there we go. Give us a little splash screen, get that going. And we'll do a nice long one here because we have the time. Okay. Close your eyes. Put both feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Just let it go. We thank you, Father, Mother, God, for your many gifts, for your many blessings. We thank you for bringing us here today to share in this fellowship and communion with one another. We understand that we are going through a very difficult time. We understand that there are many issues facing us at this point in history. And we are admonished by your own will that we seek to become one with one another. We seek to iron out our differences, to rise above our petty squabbles, and seek to find that unifying coherence that is love. How we may approach that love, how we may learn to live in your glory, seeking your higher power in however form we can find it. We are so grateful for the gifts that you share with us, for the joy that you bring us, for the time that we spend knowing that you are here, that we are whole and pure, that everything is good. We are grateful for this time to be together with one another. We are grateful for this time to share each other's presence. And we are grateful for the living consciousness that is available in our breath. As we breathe in healing for planet Earth, easing the stress in these areas of flashpoints, praying for a positive outcome for whatever we may be seeing in the world. As we breathe out simplicity, surrender, positivity, and love. Knowing that we have so much to gain by being able to be here with each other, coming together in fellowship and community, and finding the common ground that we share. We are grateful for you, O Father, Mother, God. We are grateful for you, Christ consciousness. We are grateful for you, infinite creator, giving us the tools that we need to elevate ourselves, to be able to once again remember who we really are, how we got here, and where we are going. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to being in your presence. We look forward to being with you. And we know that it's only a short distance away. How soon we will be free, how soon we will revivify. And we have a glimpse of that now. We breathe in your radiant, glorious presence. We are here now with you in this loving space. And we thank you so much for all that you've given us. We thank you for your divinity. We thank you for your honesty. We thank you for your peace and trust. We thank you for showing us the way, showing us the truth, showing us the life, showing us this understanding that is available to everyone if we were but to take stock of it and keep it in our hearts and keep it in our minds and souls. We are so grateful for you, O Father, Mother God, so grateful for your bounty, so grateful for your majesty, so grateful for all that you've shared with us. We wish to connect with you more fully in this moment, in every moment, however that may come about. There's so much to be grateful for. There's so much to love. There's so much to be honest about. So much that we can surrender, so much that we can unify with. We thank you for synchronicity. And again, thank you for the messages that you give us in many different ways, those flashes of insight, those small little bursts that happen in our minds. We learn to slow down and breathe deeply and see those little flashes as significant. Take them in, breathe them in. Give ourselves the time to do what we know is right. That's all it really takes. Giving the space for the healing to occur, breathing into the moments of silence that are everlasting, knowing that we will so soon be reunited with you and that we are already here now in spirit. And that is such a gorgeous and beautiful thing. We thank you so much for your presence. We thank you so much for what you've offered us. We thank you so much for the glory that you provide with your wisdom, with your understanding, and how we can better approach that in every way in our own lives. Thank you again. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your peace. Thank you for your knowingness. And we thank you for sending your loving energy to those areas of conflict. Let's free up these negative spaces, work towards the positive in any way that we can, and feel ourselves gently but thoroughly reconnecting with the truth of the all there is. For there is nothing greater than the light. There is nothing greater than the love. There is nothing greater than this one infinite consciousness. And we truly do thank you. We are grateful for you, O Father, Mother God, grateful for your gifts, for your bounty, for what you have to offer us, for the glory of what you are, and the glory of what we are becoming as we strive to be more perfect and more in tune with the will and the energy and the essence of what you really are. Thank you for giving us the hope. Thank you for lifting us up. And we feel that glorious, radiant relaxation moving through us, flowing like a current, so peaceful, so calming, so wonderful. Thank you for bringing that in. Thank you for these waves of relaxation. Thank you for the enjoyment that comes with knowing that your blessings are upon us, that you will keep us safe and protected, that we will not be harmed. And we pray this for the whole planet. We pray this for all those in need of prayer and healing, those who asked for healing in the comments, those who maybe did not but still nonetheless need it. Thank you for blessing us in any way that you can. Bless us with abundance, the healing of our conflicts, the resolution, that we may know your light and your love and be better able to help you in your divine calling in any way that we can. Thank you, O Father, Mother God. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for facilitating this fellowship, and thank you for your love. We recognize that in the grandest sense, we are the light. We are the love. We are the embodiment of your will. And this is as it was, as it is now, and as it always shall be. And nothing and no one can ever take that from you. And so it is. All right. Let's breathe our way back into the room here. This is really great. Thank you guys so much.
Alright, everybody. So, take your time. Slowly but surely, bring yourself back into the room. That was lovely. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, guys. And I suppose what we can do in the comments, we can definitely say that I for one am grateful for David and everything that he did. You know, it doesn't matter to me what people have said about him, about his intentions, and about what he did. Those people just, as far as I'm concerned, don't see that clearly. You know, I watched the cosmic disclosure on Gaia, and David was always playing the devil's advocate. Yeah, he was always trying to discredit it, in the sense that he was trying to press it so hard so that he could see if there were, you know, there were bits in it. And in any other case, you know, like, do we not watch Star Wars for entertainment? Like, come on. Do we not read sci-fi books for entertainment? Like, it's the thing that a lot of us can really truly know for an absolute fact is our feet in the soil. You know, the rest of it's the exploration of life. You know, the life that might be out, that might and definitely is out there, the life that might and definitely be here. It's, you know. So, I appreciate you all very much. Bla, Zoichka, Asana, Mommy Malins, Yelena, Suzanne, Victoria, Louise, Gail. By the way, Gail, I saw your comment. I saw your comment as well. Soul Coach Suzanne. That was lovely to see. Doctor Who is great. There you go. Yeah, Doctor Who is great. Absolutely. He did get us on our path, you know, and in his live streams, he's frequently talking about the pathway to peace. This one is called Seek Your Higher Power. Yeah, is that not what we're talking about with the Great Global Garden? Is that not what we're talking about with the restoration of sovereignty and freedom to our people? Yeah, like, you know, it's. I saw a video, when you type in David now on YouTube, a video comes up, and the dude didn't even watch him. You can tell. He's like, oh, I think this is what was being said, and I think that was... And it's like, look, bro, you're okay to have your opinion and your thoughts, but at least do some research on it, yeah? Come on. Like, at least, like, watch and try to see it, you know? Because, again, you know, like, watching the wisdom teachings again, it's incredible. I'm so glad whoever did that, whoever put them together, I tip my hat to you, because really, really powerful. Brizzy said, so good. I got Tree Dog into it. Yeah, beautiful. Well, that's good, you know. That's beautiful that we find it at our timing. So, you know, that's lovely. And Tree Dog says, yeah, David is a grand soul. He got us on our path. Absolutely. There is no doubt he, more blessings down to earth. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's wonderful that we're still sharing this space. You know, us, the 51 people watching right now, we have continued that legacy, you know. And if you're new here, please, the fact that you're watching this very live means that you're doing just as much wonderful things. So I didn't want that to sound a little bit out of there. You know, the point is that we are all coming together. Doesn't matter how long we're here for, whether it's 60 seconds or 50 hours, we are all coming together to hold a space for a guy that we truly appreciated. And when you look through it, like, you know, people say, oh, is £1 Million Wood Mansion, like, yeah, Billy Carson's doing the same thing. Yeah, Greg Braden, like, they're making money off of the presentation of their work. You know, it's up to us to decide whether we think it's nonsense or not, and that's it. You know, that's it. So anyway, Myra, welcome. Thank you so much for coming back. Appreciate you being here very much. Very, very kind of you. Sorry if I missed anybody's comments. I know few people said it was quite emotional. I think this because it's funny. A lot of the words David used then were gratitude. We're grateful. We're thankful. We appreciate. You know, and that really, that kind of energy does bring up that emotion because it's very pure. It's very lovely. So B-Bar says, I've been learning from David for 21 years. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Asana says, we are part of the momentum of the movement, without a doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely. Deborah says, I'm grateful for Brother James's vision of the Great Global Garden and for all my star brothers and sisters here in the chat room. Absolutely. You know, and I know, yes, they are multimillionaires. Great. Absolutely. Yeah, that's... And look, like, Yelena, that's okay with me. For me, it all comes down to morals and principles. Like, I I wouldn't be able to sit on millions of pounds without thinking, how can this benefit other people? Yeah, because the vast majority of stuff that I need in my life is peanuts. All right, it really is peanuts. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, like it's if wealth and money is their things. I know Billy Carson talks a lot about that. It's like, you know, making money in businesses and the trading and everything that you had, and it's like, that's okay. I'm not here to cast shade on anybody. This is life, yeah. Like, having money is obviously a lot better than not having money. I'll tell you from experience. So, but you know, it's like, why did I stop doing my coaching so much? Because I realized there's only so far that you can, you know, seek to guide a person before you sit there and say, hang on a minute, you haven't actually got what you need to be the best version of yourself, and that is land, you know. So I had to shift morally, I had to shift my focus. If you haven't already, guys, would you be able to hit the like button on the live stream? That certainly does help to get it out there. It is just below the video. If you're watching on your phone, it should tap on the screen. You'll see the live, or if you're on your computer, you should see that like button. But if you're willing to, that would be a wonderful, wonderful thing for you to do. Would help me out tremendously. Asna says, yes, James, morals and principles are what really show true character. Absolutely, I agree with you. Brizzy says, Tree Dog showed me David back in 2023. When I was going through the hardest time in my life. David has been my church ever since then. It's still hard, and I'm grateful to James for keeping him alive. I appreciate that dearly. It's a wonderful comment, you know. And well, you know, 13 live streams in. Like I say, we're gonna keep going. So we will be all the way through August. Next week, I will give you my schedule of itinerary. I will have already done one by then, but I'll give you my schedule so that you can see when it's the really high level intense. Like, there's one weekend where it's a Saturday and Sunday, and that's gonna be you know, a lot. James, you are an honourable man who well, absolutely, Suzanne, you know, that's where my heart is, you know. And again, this is just interesting with the Arthurian tradition, with King Arthur, and how things should be. I don't want to say that out loud, so I'm going to move on quickly, but it's very curious. There's a lot of very curious things. Prince Royal, welcome back, my friend. We missed you a few times. I know you, but it's a pleasure, and it's amazing to see you back here. It was wonderful, because on one of the live streams that I think you might not have been able to catch in, we saw you comment on one of David's lives, and that was wonderful. So, all right then, guys, we got to get cracking, because there's a lot of stuff to go through. So let me just pause that for later. Now, let's just come back here and go through the benefits. So if you remember, we were talking about the benefits of the forest garden village communities, what they give to people, okay? Being here is so much better than joining the crowds to watch the game. Oh, Anika, I'm so sorry. Did I not say hello? Welcome. Thank you for being here, Anika. I'm so sorry if I haven't said hello for quite a while. It's amazing that you're here. I agree with you totally. So we have to understand that there are many benefits to forest gardens, but primarily there are three huge benefits, which are in an economical, an ecological, and an ethics point of view. So we're talking about money, nature, people. That's basically what those three represent, if you didn't know. So we've got economically, it reduces people's monthly expenses, right? If you're not having to go out and buy your shopping, if you're not paying electricity because you've got your own source of energy, you know, all of these things, it reduces that. Localization is what we said, by getting your tomatoes from 10 meters away instead of, you know, 250 miles. It is generational inheritance. One of the beautiful things about Anastasia is the idea that we will, when I pass away, there will be no gravestone, but the forest garden will be my dwelling place, so that my children's children's children will be able to communicate with me through the trees, because I will become a part of the land once more. We've got living within planetary capacity. So a lot of people from Western culture, United States, Europe, etc., we're using up to 20 acres of land consumption per person. That means that everything that you're involved with, your computer, your car, your fuel, your food, it consumes up to 20 acres of land per person, okay? Which is absolutely insane, because we only have an acre of consumption per person, okay? So I can only consume an acre of the land, because that's all that exists, okay? So 37 billion acres of land on planet Earth. There are 11.8 billion acres of usable agricultural land. And that means that factoring in soil degradation, there's an 8 billion population on Earth. We've got about an acre per person, probably less. All right? So we are suggesting that through the 2.5 acre forest garden homestead, which is inspired by Anastasia, we are suggesting that it brings that number down to 0.5 acres per person. So instead of using 20, you're using 0.5, which is an incredible shift, right? You imagine millions of people doing that and the beauty and wonder that we then offer Mother Earth, offer planet Earth from that shift. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. 20 acres of consumption down to 0.5. Okay? Off with their head. What's going on in the chat room? I've only just noticed. All I saw there was Asana off with their heads. Who are we offing heads with? Oh, Alice in Wonderland. I love that. Yeah. Oh, Sally, welcome. I'm here, James, just watching on my TV and not in the chat. Oh, bless you, Sally. Well, thank you so much for being here. I send you my deepest love. It's wonderful that you're spending this time with us. Thank you so much. It increases our learning and development because there is a school that I need to learn. Our dear friend from Scotland was reminding me that there is a school in this book that I have to study for when we come back next week. So in the Anastasia Ringing Cedars books, okay, in the Ringing Cedars books, you can see them on the back there, Vladimir Megre, absolutely incredible books. Alice in Wonderland reference, I got you. These books are absolutely phenomenal. In that book, it refers to a school which is built and ran by students, and these individuals are some of the most intelligent people you will ever come across. Okay? So I can't go into that in a minute because I won't talk about a subject that I haven't fully re-familiarized myself with, but it is a thing that actually exists and it is successful. Okay, and our dear friend who came down from Scotland, because he's also connected to the Ringing Cedars, he has a guy who has researched it and knows that it is working. So children are able to educate themselves and each other, and apparently because of the way they do it, it just gets faster and faster, and there are no adults. Okay, so that might sound a little bit far-fetched. I totally understand that. I will get back to you on that one. We will cover that next week because that's a very important part about learning, development, and education. Okay, so if you remember the slide that we just went through, all those components of society that we're exploring within the Great Global Garden Movement, education is one of those, and that's one really amazing thing. So a Real Creation says, I did a paper in college. I guess Mesopotamia used like 60% of their grain to make beer. All the land we use now to feed livestock. Absolutely. So the vast 80% of the land is used for livestock farming. Okay, so that means that a lot of the grains and cereals are used as fodder for cattle. So fodder, if you didn't know, it just means you're growing food for animals to have, because the animals eat the food, you send the animals to the slaughterhouse, everyone has their meat. Okay, so what we're saying, specifically with planet Earth, but more importantly with Wales, we are saying that you can feed because there's 3 million acres of land in Wales, you can feed the entire population of Wales on 3% of the land. I'm going to tell you that again. I'm going to whisper that like ASMR. Are you ready? Here in Wales, you can feed the entirety of the population of Wales on 3% of the land. Now, I didn't prepare those numbers. I deeply apologise. I'm going to have to go back and get those for you next week. So Annie or Mother, if you're watching, can you please write down the school ran by children and the numbers for Welsh to feed the population of Wales, please? Yep, I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely, Lenny. So that's interesting, Lenny. So you and I really do have to get on the phone at some point soon. There's a couple of other people I really do have to get on the phone with. Neil is one of them. I'm not sure if he's here this week, bless him, but he's doing an amazing amount of work, just like you, my friend, and everybody else who's on here. But we have a lot of numbers in association with Britain and specifically Wales, because we're seeking for Wales to be the first ethical country, and they're already doing things. So one thing that I haven't shared with you yet is we have the One Planet development, which is designed to allow people to get on the land, to live on the land with a low impact home, as long as they are providing, I think it's roughly about 30% of their total food. So we have something in here in Wales, and obviously I'm an Englishman, but you know, the entire earth is where I'm from. But Prince Royal, a school run by children, what could go wrong? Well, it's interesting. A school run by children, from the cases that we've seen, the level of which they organise themselves is absolutely just impeccable. You know, so they built the school as well. I've got to get it. I can't. It sounds fantastical. I need to give you concrete stuff with that. I'll have a look. For next week. Yes, my mother also sent me the Charter of the Forest Act, which we will have to look at some point as well. Interesting. People went mad with that idea. I loved it. Well, this is the thing, because supposedly when the parents went to the school, they realised that there was nothing they could offer them because they were already doing it successfully. But I need to go back into that. I'm sorry for sharing that with you and leaving you on a bit of a cliffhanger, but maybe that's something a bit exciting to look forward to next week. All right? Let me get these glasses back on. Really quick as well, you'll love it, but when I was around Michael's, I found this gorgeous owl feather. Look at that, look. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely wonderful pattern of that feather. See if I can make it. There you go. Look at that, look. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you for that, Lenny. Green School in Bali is worth a look. Very cool school. Annie or Mother, could you also write that one down, please? Green School in Bali. Annie, if you could do that, that would be wonderful, because I want to make sure because that's another section, actually, education, because you've got the Steiner schools, you've got this school that I was talking about. Anika says, school teaching how to live, loving the planet and each other, absolutely. Lenny says, tawny owl, it is a tawny owl, it's absolutely gorgeous. I found 3 of them, I left the other 2 with Michael, but I didn't know if he wanted them or not, so maybe I'll pinch them from him next time. As someone that taught in high school for 2 years, many things could go wrong. Well, Yelena, don't forget that high school usually has a much different program of indoctrination than these kids. But we'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week. You know, from what I understand anyway, they're supposed to be doing wonderful things. Israel, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Wow, your owl feather is so cool. Yeah, it is. I was really excited. I was walking around Michael, which basically is a forest garden. I was walking around his land, and I went into one of his thingies, and I looked up, and it was just beautiful. Absolutely right on Prince Royal. What have I missed here? Anything that's interesting? A school run by children would function infinitely times better than a government run by adults. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Why? Because a lot of adults have already succumbed to those lower natures, right? Most of the time you put kids in a room, they're less likely to, well, Yelena might have different experience, but, you know, from what I've known of kids, if they're brought up in a certain, you know, with certain morals and values, they stick to them. Let me move on from that, because I need to... Let's go through it next week, I think. Absolutely. Looks like a barred owl. Well, from what I understand, it's a tawny owl. So I know that we're quite a few tawny owls here in the UK. And Michael says he knows that there are tawny owls down there. So I think it's a tawny owl feather. Pretty sure. Coming back over. So not only that for the economical side, so we're right here, guys, if you can't see that. There we go. But it provides you with products to produce, products and produce to exchange. See, here's the other thing. Because you'll have such an incredible abundance, I myself will have absolutely no problem trading and bartering with other people. When I've got my own honey, my own specific variety of tomato and apple and pear and damson and quince and mulberry, you know, when I've got certain herbs growing that are you know, just right for my land, you know, it's a really beautiful thing. So we've got resource abundance, natural medicine and healthy living. Okay, that's all on the economical side. Ecologically, we've got erosion control and flood defence, carbon capturing, if that's what you're into. I know the whole climate thing, people are very here nor there about it. What I understand is it doesn't have so much to do with greenhouse gases as it does to do with the dehydration of the land. Now, that was something that this gentleman had said to me, which really does make sense, because when you deforest massive areas of land, you affect the water cycle, which is what we explored when we talked about our ancient cultures and civilizations. So that is something that we all explored together. Not only that, but it provides pure fresh drinking water, proper nutrient recycling through the system, soil regeneration and restoration, native species and habitat restoration, biodiversity, organic food and produce. Sorry, I've just got the Symphony of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar playing in my ears, so I have to change that a little bit. 1 second, guys. I know for a fact that Brizzy and Tree Dog are going to laugh at that. I'm waiting for the comment to come through. Deborah, Brother James is the headmaster of the Great Global Garden. That's brilliant. Yeah. Do you know what's interesting? Okay. We've got so much to talk about here. It's incredible. 2-second detour. What is really funny is with the Light of Albion, Lucas and I had this idea of creating a magic school at the same time. All right, hold on there. Wait, give me a second, all right? When I was watching Harry Potter, I love Harry Potter, and I did think to myself, you know, there is magic in the land. There is magic in the landscape. There's magic in astrology. There's magic in the books, wooden books that I've got down here. Yeah, the quadrivium, the trivium, megalith, geomancy. Okay, all of these elements that are really to do with the true consciousness of our world, right? The esoteric and what you would call occult, which means hidden. You know, because why is it hidden? Because they've hidden it. But when you look at the geometric structure of our world, which people like the Freemasons know, which I am not. I know somebody had that concern last week. My goodness, am I not? It's about, there's a lot of stuff that has been hidden from us. You know, a lot of stuff that's been hidden through stuff like the Vatican. Indigenous wisdom has gone into hiding as well. You know, so it's not just on a nefarious level. I know for a fact that a lot of indigenous wisdom is sort of kept a little bit for, like, when I read The Mystery of the White Lions, Credo Mutua was purposefully keeping a lot of that knowledge, you know, protected. So my point being is that creating a school, you know, that was in perhaps a castle or something. I just can't believe nobody's created it yet. You know, an actual proper functioning school, you know. Amber says the world is magic, and you are absolutely correct. And Gail, Harry Potter fan here, me too. Yelena says laughing global garden. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was really funny. Prince Royal, James, thoughts on vertical farming? Yeah, I for abundance wise, it's brilliant. The only thing I don't like is that soil isn't used. So are you talking about the vertical farming where they have a water system that feeds nutrients to the roots of the plants, which allows them to grow in wonderful ways? If that's the case, the idea's brilliant. I can't say it doesn't work. I just think that, again, there's this element of connecting with the soil, roots going into the soil, ecological restoration, whereas the vertical farming, whether it's in like mycelium based plastic or eco-plastic, or whether it's literally plastic, it's like, if we can get our vegetables and our plants and our herbs and our trees into the soil, I just think that's really powerful. You know I'm Gryffindor, Brizzy. Look at that look. Yeah? You know I'm in Gryffindor, you know? That's not actually Gryffindor, but it's a lion. People think, why has he got... This guy is a nerd. He's got Gryffindor tattooed on his chest. No, that's a lion that's a part of a mural, but it's... Yeah. Magic does exist, absolutely. Asana says, my most truly deep indigenous... I meant to say there. Most... indigenous wisdom is shared only via story. It is indeed. Prince Royal says, interesting point. I appreciate that, my friend. So, you know, again, if it means that it feeds people healthier food than what is currently available, who can blame it, right? It's just that idea of plastic, and I'm pretty sure that if it's nutrient fed, then you have to buy in their nutrient cocktails. Is that correct, or am I incorrect? I haven't looked into it deep enough, but I'm pretty sure that if that's the case, the water system that you have for the vertical farming then has to use a nutrient cocktail, which they will probably provide. Where are they getting those nutrients from? You know, so it's kind of like, again, it's making our life much easier. It's all, to me, it's all about the soil, you know, getting back on the land, getting back to the soil. So yeah, but it's an excellent point, my friend. It is a method of growing, and it's important that we have that conversation and explore it. And for some people, they might love it. Fair enough, you know. Our beautiful British Isles are steeped in legend, myth, and folklore. It's totally magical. You're absolutely right. It is indeed. Leilu, welcome. Magic is all around us, multidimensionally speaking, but for some reason I've lost audio. Oh no. Can you hear us now? I've been pretty vocal in this one, so I'm hoping you can. Way late today trying to catch up. Leilu, that's no worries. You can stick with us now and wait until the very end to go back if you'd like. It's entirely up to you, but we would love to have you present right here and now because we love chatting with you. So if you're willing to watch now and go back to the what's before, that would be wonderful. Did I miss a comment, Yelena? Sorry, Yelena, if I missed my mama. My mama has. Yes, Mummy Choose It. They even stole me. Yeah, okay. I heard you say about Atlantis and the Vatican. Yeah, they did. Yeah, of course they did. Library of Alexandria. There are all kinds of horrors that have been created by extremely greedy individuals. Let's carry on, shall we? We haven't even got started today, and we're already an hour and a half in. When's our next one? An hour and 26. So we already need to do our next meditation. It's crazy. Right, quickly through this bit. Turn my camera off real quick. The last part of this is the ethics. That's the people, okay? It's the you and me. It's our family. So through this understanding, we have an enhanced spiritual connection. We are more likely to discover our purpose. We are more likely to have improved physical well-being. We're more likely to have a reconnection with nature, mental well-being, sovereign independence and self-sufficiency, seasonal knowledge and understanding. That one is a lot more important than we are currently giving it credit to. Okay, so that one's a really powerful one. And then ultimately, and most importantly, creating time freedom. Okay, so these are just a small amount of the benefits that are very important to this whole idea. All right, these we've had for a very long time. Now then, there are two options for us to do here. I would like to show you this document that I made many years ago, which is basically, it includes all kinds of stuff to go through the land. I think it would be very exciting to do this now. And then we will have a look at our 7 pages. So this is the 7 pages that Lucas and I... This is actually the second document. Okay, so this is only 95 pages. The other one is 250 because we have 8 versions now. So we have slowly but surely shunted down information. We've improved it. We've re-put it back together. And so far, this is where we're at. One thing that is a little bit naughty, and you're all, very welcome to be upset with me for this. But I wanted to get this is a vision that Annie had, and something that I'd also sort of was very drawn to, was a book that will eventually be created, which is called The Great Global Garden. So I thought that was a way to do that. So I do apologise. That one actually is me. The rest of the images that I got was somebody else, but I did use thingy for that. So I'm disappointed in myself. Don't worry. I apologise profusely, but I just thought it was a wonderful way to kind of put it forward. And then this is it. So I won't go through this just yet. Again, remember, so all of these are a work in progress. They are not confirmed. They are not guaranteed. We have not sort of absolutely nailed it on the head, but we're getting very, very close. Okay, Michael has been doing a wonderful job helping to improve these over the days. Lucas has also been a very, very good job, done a very, very good job at working on these too. We've worked exceedingly hard to get this. There's at least, 20-30 hours in 8 pages. I mean, it's ludicrous, but it's what it takes. Another thing that we have done is created a source list. Now, this isn't the actual source list. I can't... Let me just try and bring you here a second. I'm doing this because I want you guys to know what I'm up to. I know it's kind of like, this is more of like the side stuff, but I think it's exceptionally important that you know like what is going on, like what is James up to, what is this process he's talking about. So let's just come back here a minute. So you might wonder what we're looking at. Every piece of information that is in these. Oh, hello, Yaya, yay. Yay. I like yay. Is it Yaya? You'll have to let me know how to pronounce that. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending this time with us. I really, really appreciate it. This document right here is every single link to all of the sources that we have referred to. That's pieces of information, claims that we've made. Okay, all of that information is in here. And so you can see, as I scroll down here, I'll zoom in a bit. Oopsie. Can I? Why is it not zooming in? Oh no. Don't do that. What's happening here? There we go. Don't know what was on with that. Coming out a bit close. So as we scroll down here, I had to find all of these. So I had to literally spend hours finding and making sure that this information is correct. It still needs another 3 passes over it. Some of it might be a little bit not quite there, but this literally. So this is what I've been working on. You know, this is all of the stuff. Like for example, what's happening with vertebrae populations, the things that are happening with the bee populations. We had to get all of this information so that when people go through the 7 pages and they say, where the hell did you get this idea from, we have that source available. Okay, so you can see it just goes on and on and on and on till there. It ain't that far, but it's quite far. So yes, as you can see, I'd like to go through the plan of action first, so we'll cover this in a moment. Yeah, I said that before, so they certainly are Potty Harry inspired, absolutely. I appreciate your patience with me as well, guys, with the comments section. I'm trying to keep the content going nice enough, you know, so that we can keep the ball rolling. So this here is a plan of action document. You can see that's the benefits there. So in here, I know there's a lot that we're looking at the minute, so I appreciate you very much. I hope that you know, let me know if this is an okay pace for you. Let me know if you can see it okay. Let me know if you want me to be a little bit more clear on other things. But here we've got, basically we were looking at all of the components of the homestead, right? So the temporary living, the permanent living, the communal spaces. Let me just zoom in here. Where is the present? What's going on? Where is the present? How weird. Okay, I can't present it to you. Let me zoom in a bit. So we've got things like the energy, fuel and water, the repurposed waste like compost bins, compost methods, compost materials, compost toilets, which are... Oh, Daniel, welcome. Fantastic work, James. Really fascinating. Good job, bro. Appreciate you dearly, my friend. Thanks for tuning in and being here with us. Appreciate you, buddy. Really cool. Really cool for you to be here. And all sorts of things like wormery. So compost toilets, they can be done very hygienically and very beautifully, where they're deep enough where you don't smell anything nasty, and you can use that in time on your land. Okay, so the whole point, some of you might find that a little bit out there, but the whole point is you're losing less and less nutrients and fertile soil by being more and more responsible. Right, so all of you are a part of the ecosystem. All right, so a cow, people will say that a cow regenerates fields. You regenerate the land as well. You know, so at the minute, all of our, let's not get too deep with this conversation, but all of our waste is taken off elsewhere, right? Whereas it could be going back onto your land in a very hygienic way. That means it's completely and utterly broken down. That means that it's broken down through wormeries and through proper composting methods. This is a very, very incredible science, and it allows you to, again, be more and more self-sufficient. Growing spaces like polytunnels and greenhouses, plants themselves, heirloom seeds. Lenny says, did you check out the Sovereign Project? I know you had millions. Lenny, it is literally, there are 3 documents open on my computer. Yours is one of them. I really need to. Oh, do you mean? No, I've actually got your document open up on my computer. But Annie, can you please write down the Sovereign Project again, please? That would be a massive help. My mother as well, just in case. I know you know, just let me know if you could also please write down the Sovereign Project. But yeah, Lenny, this week was absolutely nuts, my friend. I spent 3 days manically getting the 7 pages in a good place. I was up until 3 in the morning one of those days, and then we had those, you know, we had 2 full days with that chap who came down. So I haven't had a checkout yet, but really bear with me, my friend. I know you are. I know you're very kind and compassionate. I will. It's on my list. You know, a lot of people have sent amazing things through that are directly, yeah. No, do give me a nudge, please, and keep doing it. So anybody who's messaged me, who's got important stuff they'd like to share, keep nudging me. You know, the problem is that I've been wanting to be more than one person for a long time, and there's only so much that you can do as one person when it's working, you know? So anyway, we are very late for our next meditation. So what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to do 2 meditations in one, if you're okay with that, because I would like, that means it'll be slightly longer, but this stuff is very important, and I do want to get through this with you guys. I appreciate you deeply, Anika. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much for all the work and time you put into this project so that we can be informed. It's my honour. Thank you so much. Prince Rose says, somehow I prefer cows seeding the land than pig. Yeah, look, it won't be for everybody, but you know, I have been a part of those systems. You know, they are very hygienic, they're very clean, and it's a very, very good way to refertilize the soil. All right. And I ain't just going out with a shovel, all right? So it is done in a very good way, I promise you that. But there's a book on it called Hugh Manure. Hugh, H-U, Manure. Get it and read. Get it and read, guys. I highly recommend it. Hugh Manure. Have a read. It's a very interesting take. You know, very interesting. Other things. Health and wellness. Animals. Working spaces. Tools and machinery. This was basically what we did for a piece of land that we were seeking to buy. It was 100 acres. It didn't work. Didn't work out. Didn't quite work out. But this was all the groundwork that was done for it. So things like temporary living, like static caravans, you know, we put the pricing for all of it. We were looking at about £1.5 million. I did have that, like 3 people who had $500,000 each. It didn't work out though. So you've got things like static caravans you can buy second hand, and then you can make them look lovely. Yeah, so temporary living. Remember, this is temporary. So temporary living, this is a pretty decent way. You can make them look nice. Absolutely, Asana. I agree with you as well. So, like you'll see here, this is all the work we did before. This is all waiting to go. You know, 20,000 per caravan. You know, shepherd's hutch, which are a lot more expensive, but again, for sort of like, either you could build your own shepherd's hut. These were examples. These are very fancy ones, of course. You know, upwards of 45,000 because we were looking at permanent living. So permanent living is like cob materials, clay, straw, mud, sand, and water, wood, slate, and stone. Right, so we've got more permanent things. I mean, look at how beautiful some of them are. You know, you've got the earthen homes. A lot of these are in America. I've seen these in person in the UK. You know, there is a place which does it. You know, you can be very creative. I mean, look at that look. You know, you can be very creative. You can make them look very beautiful. I don't know why I can't present this. What is happening? Let me refresh the page a sec. I really don't understand. How weird. Anyway, that's young me. I had hair there. You see that? I actually had hair there. That's hilarious. There you go, guys. Anyway, whatever. You know, again, we did the research into this too. Wooden cabins. This is very Anastasia. So Anastasia is very much wooden cabins. I mean, look at it. Look, you know, this is the people talk about. Oh, going back to the Stone Age. Does that look like the Stone Age? Are we kidding? You know, And not only that, but the insulation rating of these houses is much higher. So what that means is that if an insulation rating on a house is higher, so some of the methods that I've been exploring and studying have an R rating of 50, that means that your house is warm in winter and cool in summer. And it takes a lot less firewood to heat your home. Okay, we're going to talk about that in the 7 pages. So we've got things like wooden cabins, right? Hobbit homes. Yeah, does these look like awful places? Look at this, look. You know, I know Lucas is excited. We absolutely adore The Lord of the Rings, and he loves the idea of a hobbit house. You know, it ain't for everybody, but it's an opportunity. You know, you imagine this is a lot less invasive on the land. What I mean by that is you can make it integrate with the land much easier. Of course, it's invasive because you're literally digging it in the ground, but it's a lot less of than a modern 2 up, 2 down modern house. You know, it's very ergonomic. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Nature aesthetic, I suppose. Okay. You've got communal spaces. I literally have built a yurt. I've built teepees. So I've made teepees myself. I've made a yurt myself, as in this fact that I've put them up myself. I didn't make them, but I put them up. So you've got roundhouses. There were groups in the UK where you'd pay them to build it for you. They'd use it for 6 weeks or a week or 2 to run workshops, and then they'd leave you with it. You'd just have to provide the materials. Or they built it for you for free. They'd use it for retreats, and then, I can't remember exactly, but you can make them look very beautiful. Natural materials with wood. Teepees, again, you know, obviously I know Deborah and a few people in here will love that. You know, I had 2 teepees. We had 2 that we were using, Lucas and I. Root cellars, again, so you can dig your own root cellars to store your produce and what you've got. Are we still on the human composting? Deborah says, oh no, sorry Deborah, that's really, I didn't see any of the other comments, so I wondered if we were still talking about human poop. Deborah says, must be all that human composting presentation. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've got root cellars. What else we've got here? Energy, fuel and water. I'll skip past this, but wind, hydro, geothermo, biofuel. So there are things like biodigesters, which use stuff like cow manure in order to produce gas, and then you use it. You've got solar dehydrators. You know, this is all available to these homesteads. You know, okay, this is a bit intense. I don't know why. Those are examples of wind power, but they're not what we were talking about. It's a long time. You know, you can get, again, efficiency is a question mark. Okay, so you have to understand that it's been a long time since I've researched the efficiency of renewable energy systems and the way they're built. But, you know, they're things to explore. Now, a new process that are in the 7 pages are something called willow copsing. Okay, so a willow copse system. There's your biodigester. Didn't finish this page. So firewood and fuel, you can basically, apparently, if you've got a decent home, you can heat your home on 2 tons of firewood, and you can produce that through coppicing, which is cutting the tree right down to the base and it grows loads of branches. You can do that on 1/4 of an acre. If you have a 2.5 acre plot of land, we're on the money, yeah? Water catchment and irrigation, so storing your own water. Government doesn't like that, of course they don't, because that doesn't make them any money, does it? But this is what you can do, yeah? You can get IBC tanks are these? I forget the name of them. IBC tanks. You know, as long as they haven't been heavily chemically sorted, you can look through this. You can use those. I appreciate that, Yaya. Very kind of you. Repurposed waste. This is where we were looking at different compost bins. You know, I personally have had really great success with a 1 meter by 1 meter cube composting system, and it gets to about 70 degrees in temperature. Let me come over here a sec. It gets about 70 degrees in temperature. You use brown material, green material. You can also add in cow urine. Don't ask how we got that. The dude used to milk the cow. Sometimes he'd urinate. He'd keep a bucket in his side. We'd carry it up. Don't ask. It's dirty. No, sorry. It's It's not dirty living. It's natural, raw. Annie loves rustic and raw, and that's exactly what it is. My mother remembers seeing that because I showed her. So, you know, different composting methods that can be either very intense. You know, permaculture is incredible for this because permaculture uses a lot of nature's systems to make our life easier, and that's the name of the game, guys. Okay? I hope you're all enjoying this material. Please let me know. Oh, I'm not on the page, am I? There we go. I hope you're enjoying this material. Again, as far as I'm concerned, this is all of our futures. Okay? This is your future. This is my future. I will work as damn hard as I possibly can. Rustic and raw as well. So you've got 4. Wild, primal, raw and rustic. That's Asna says James lol kids. I've gone blank to what I was talking about. Mira says, Myra, apologies, Myra, would you correct me? Is it Myra or Mira? I apologise. So much damage has been done to the soil and the seeds all around the world. We really have. Yes, we do. You know, yes, we do. And this is why we're talking about the forest garden, because you can scatter many seeds of many varieties and let nature do the work. Okay, let nature choose what it wants to grow and where. Okay, and this is a really syntropic agriculture. Syntropic agroforestry is a very good way of restoring the soil. All right. So remember, guys, composting toilets, they can look pretty. Yeah, this one's made out of cob. This one's got a little grass roof. You know, little solar panel for a light inside. It's not for everybody, but it's a powerful way to retain some of the nutrients. Wormeries are incredible. I built my own... Did I... Yes. Not the one you're thinking about, though, Prince Royal. No, I showed my mother my composting bay. The compost toilet was much further elsewhere. Oh, I appreciate you all confirming you're enjoying this. That's very, very kind of you guys. Very kind of you. I built my own wormery with a bathtub. With a bathtub. I tilted it with concrete blocks so that the juice from the worms would come out of the bathtub into a bucket. I used that to spray on the vegetables that were there, and it was amazing. You know, the way the worms multiplied, how it worked. It was incredible. Really, really, really powerful. So I did enjoy that when I was there. I haven't researched that in a while. It's supposed to be really amazing stuff, though. So growing spaces like polytunnels, plastic ain't ideal, so glass really is the way to go. And I've been studying a lot more on that at the minute. You know, plastic is a bit here or there. Worm juice. People keep telling me I should stop using that word. Worm tea is also a way to put it, but you know, look, it's the juice of the worm, all right? It's that's probably not very attractive to hear that. Isn't it fascinating? Last week it felt like it was really long. We're already on 2 hours, and I feel like I've only just started. So here's our polytunnels. You know, you can make some really attractive greenhouses. You can put greenhouses on the side of buildings, which will use passive solar gain to heat that room. You know, there's all kinds of ways that we can play, guys. You know, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about restoring our playground. Yeah? Let me fucking say that again. Little F-bomb there. We're talking about restoring our playground, right? This is what was taken from us, and this is what we need to get back. Okay? There's loads and loads and loads of lovely comments. You'll have to bear with me, though, guys. I want to make sure that we get through this good stuff before our next meditation. Plants, orchards, and tree guilds. Yeah, look at these beautiful images. This could, again, so this is quite a... things like here, look. So this is a more appropriate layered system. Still quite pruned. These pictures are very old. This one's quite nice. You know, you see these layers? Layers of shrubs and herbs and flowers. Ground cover layers like strawberries. All those types of things. And then you've got herb gardens. You can make them very pretty. You know, you've got your rosemary, your thyme, mint. You know, all kinds of things. Living fences and hedgerows. Now, this is an Anastasia concept. Okay, so this is an Anastasia concept which says that instead of us having barbed wire fences, who wants that? You can either weave it with willow or sticks that you've cut down, or you can plant the appropriate species which will provide you a yield, right? So you can have fruit bushes and trees, berry bushes and trees, right? You can really make it so that you've got a beautiful land around you, 2.5 acres. Living fences and hedgerows again. Mushroom cultivation. Yeah, we haven't talked about that. You can literally have areas of your land where you're trying to introduce oyster mushrooms and chicken of the woods and beefsteak mushroom. Yeah, all of these things that are highly dense in nutrition, that are exceptionally good at providing another culinary benefit. Our friend Craig is absolutely astonishing with his knowledge of foraging. He's incredible, absolutely incredible. But look at this, look, imagine the kind of, you could really make it work. You could have a little sterile area, I suppose, as well, if you really wanted to go to town on mushroom cultivation. But you see what nature has for us. Nature has this available for us. Wildflowers. Imagine the species of insect that you're going to attract with the, different types of wildflowers. Shrooms, if you like. That's part of nature's medicine as well, Excuse me. Heirloom seeds, right? Really old varieties. When was the last time you saw a purple carrot? Yeah, or a rainbow-coloured carrot? Or a mangel wurzel? Anybody heard of a mangel wurzel? Stick it in the comments below. I would love to know who here has heard of a mangel wurzel. Yeah? Let's have a look here, shall we? I'll show you a mangel wurzel. Oopsie, what's going on there? That, my lovely friends, is a vegetable called a mangel wurzel. Do you wish to remove full monitor? No. Why would I want to do that? Weird. So I hope you can see that all right. That right there is a vegetable. Yeah? I really think James took a peek at my Pinterest for these images. It's blowing my mind how similar this all is. Yeah, well, a lot of these, there's a lot of good stuff on Pinterest. Pinterest is a nice thing to go on. How do you spell it? Right up there in the top left-hand corner. Mangel wurzel. Do you see that? Wurzel gummidge. Good point. There's a lot that you're all telling me there that I can't quite know. James, you're on a roll today. Put butter on that biscuit. He's on a roll. I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, I do have a hell of a lot. What is in the... Annie, did you put magic in this drink or something? Because I really am. Rosie, welcome. Oh, that's so amazing you've tuned in. Do you know what? Rosie, you've tuned in at the perfect moment. We're 2 hours in, and I would love for after this for you to go about half an hour, 45 minutes back, because we're basically here. Let me just come out. I hope you're on a computer, but here we're talking about the infrastructure of a homestead. Okay, just delivered with love. I love that, Annie. Well, it's working. I've got energy. It's working. So. Rosie's a lovely, lovely friend. I won't, Rosie. I won't expose you fully to the community, but she's a lovely, lovely friend. And so yeah, it's absolutely. Oh, okay. You've said it anyway. Just spent my first weekend on our new land. The progress today was absolutely amazing. Dad Michael was a brilliant help. Come see it one day. I love that. Okay, you said so. Michael's my dear friend, and Rosie is Michael's daughter. So that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I will. I want to. I'm sorry I haven't replied to your voice notes yet. Myself and Michael, Thursday and Friday, we met. I'm sure he's probably told you. We met that Scottish gentleman. So I was literally completely busy both Thursday and Friday with your papa. And then Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I was hardcore getting those 7 pages to a very good place so that I could then show them to your dad and to that gentleman. So I apologise I haven't replied yet, but it is on my list of things to do, of course. So what we've talked about here basically is the infrastructure to a homestead, like temporary living, permanent living with naturally built homes, communal spaces. I'm happy to send this to you, Rosie, so you can have a look through. I absolutely don't mind doing that. There are all kinds of things here. If you want to have a look and you've got time, I highly recommend you go back about an hour or so. And yeah, we really have explored some really powerful stuff right here. So that, my friends, is a mangle wurzel. So Rosie, if at any point you can plant your first ever exotic or what's the word I'm looking for? Heritage vegetable. It's a mangle wurzel. Look at that, look. It did a real creation. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, we spent about, I mean, what was it? 10 hours or so on the first day, 6 or 7 on the next. It was about 18 hours in total, give or take. So yeah, very, very powerful. Yaya says, oak trees, the biggest trees, deliver electricity to the ground. Yes, they do. You're absolutely right. Sorry if I missed any comments, guys. Welcome, Rosie. Welcome to the circus? What do you mean, circus, Asana? What do you mean? I think, yeah, no. I think we, look, we might do some acrobatics. We might do some little funny... Yeah, I know. I know, I'm only joking. Deborah says, when I would go past my limit, I was mean. Oh, bless you. Sorry, I can see there's another conversation there. Well, just to confirm, it is just mineral water. I was playing. Mangles, a.k.a. Mandrake or Mandragora. Harry Potter reference there. Or a literal reference too, which I like, but that is also a Harry Potter reference. The one in the right looks like a mandrake. Yeah, it does. So, again, maybe that's also Harry Potter inspired. Although there is literally a mandrake root plant. So, anyway. All right, guys. So let's keep going. What else here is of value? So we did also explore the health, wellness, and education. Going through things like natural medicine, preparing that. Other things like these we were also looking at. We'll absolutely watch this over again, James. No worries. Yeah. Well, you and I will also chat too, and I can also give you this document. Because I think it would be really powerful to look through. But we'll have more of a personal catch up very soon too, because that would be lovely. So we also looked at things to do with what you could do on the land in any way to make an income. I'm quite happy to never touch, bother with money again, apart from that. But, this was a way for people to support themselves in the modern world. I do think we're going down a path of, a different path. I know a fact that Michael was also, we've talked about that many times. Things like forest schools, the education of the plants and living in harmony with nature. Animals and insects, chickens and ducks for eggs and things. Beekeeping, which is wonderful. Sheep and alpaca. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Just need to get a little tissue. Sheep and alpacas. So the idea, I mean, look, the minute you introduce livestock, you're now tied to your land with, you literally can't go anywhere because you do have responsibilities. However, it could be possible to have things like sheep or alpacas for wool, because wool is a very important material. Working spaces like creative workshops, woodworking workshops and things like that. I'll just quickly go through here because this was more... Let me just see if there's anything else that's still of value. There's still another 60 pages. Cement, the rest of it was just basically things that we were gathering to make sure we knew what we were exploring. So that's actually it for this document. The rest of it's kind of like the stuff we could utilize, like planting schemes and things like that. But you can see, over the years, that hundreds of hours has gone into this stuff. Absolutely hundreds of hours. How you could make money from it. Not that I particularly care about that, but again, camping and glamping and all this kinds of stuff. Yeah, absolutely, Brizzy. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? This is really what we're talking about. So, all right, guys, we're very soon going to be ready for our next meditation. So let's just... I think we'll probably do that now. So we've finished with that now. We don't need that. Let's don't need that anymore. Keep it there, and then we'll come back to our main camera. Now I need to... hold on a sec. Let me just... Oopsie. Hang on. Where are we? It's going to go black for just a second. Need to blow my nose. Oh, Mira. No worries, Mira. Hope you have a lovely evening. I'm coming back now. One sec. There we go. Hope you have a lovely evening. You take care, and I'll we'll chat with you hopefully next Sunday. Right, guys, are you ready for our meditation? So let's just come over here. Double check here. Yeah, beautiful. We kind of touch on this meditation quite a bit. So we're going to do 2 meditations in one. So normally we obviously do one and then we do another one, but because we've been really in the flow of having this conversation, we're going to do 2 together. I've just noticed oh no, doesn't matter. Go to grid view, come down here. I am with you. There we go. Present. Full monitor. All right. So, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Bring yourself into the present moment. And once again, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Very true, Yaya. Very, very, very true. Okay. So what I would like to do, or what I would like to suggest that we do, is just bring ourselves right in to the present moment, right into our heart. So bring yourself into the presence, the warmth of your heart. It is beating right now, keeping you alive. It is doing an impeccable job of supplying your entire being with everything that it needs. So again, just breathe in and let go. I would like to invite you, us, to bring the future into our present moment. Every single person who is watching this video has a piece of land with their name on. Every single person has a right to live in harmony with nature, to be provided with everything that they need to be the best version of themselves and to be the most optimum, wonderful, and beautiful human being that they already are. I think you should all give yourselves a pat on the back because you have done an absolutely fantastic job of being a human being, considering you were not born with everything that you needed to have that perfect space. I apologise, that's the wrong. Some of you may. I know that, like myself, I wasn't born in a forest garden, so we are all doing a fantastic job of being on this planet, when the Great Global Garden, that idea of the Garden of Eden, a parable, but yet we see it on Earth. We are doing an amazing job. So let's bring that future where you're walking around your land, and just like those beautiful images, we see those wonderful array of gorgeous wildflowers. In the past 4 days, I have seen a hummingbird moth 3 times in 3 locations in about 3 to 4 days. And I've never seen one before in my life. So you imagine standing by your flowers, your buddleia, your butterfly bush, your roses, your lilies, your honeysuckles, smelling these gorgeous scents, watching these beautiful little hummingbird moths go around pollinating your land for you. Because when they pollinate your apple blossom, you get apples. So they are the impeccable workforce seeking to give to you at the highest level. Do you know anything else that could represent love at the deepest levels? Tirelessly, nature works to give us what is rightfully ours. Tirelessly, nature works to love you the way you deserve to be loved. It is unconditional. It does everything that it can to provide for you. Imagine that for a moment. Walking barefoot, if you will, around the grassy areas of your land, picking some blackberries off the bush and eating some as you do, taking some home to make a blackberry jam, or a pie, or just freezing them, making a smoothie, whatever. Imagine the flavours that burst in your mouth. Every blackberry is slightly different. No two are the same. Genetically diverse, genetically pure. Not trying to keep everything perfectly uniform, but giving you the variety of life, the magic of life, right there at your fingertips. You wake up and go to sleep in a peaceful environment. You wake up and go to sleep with abundance at your doorstep. You have peace, stability, love, connection. Your husband or wife is more able to be at peace with themselves. Your boyfriend or girlfriend is more able to know themselves because they have more time. Let us not forget all of those individuals who wandered into the wilderness, who wandered into the forests, the rivers, the deserts, to get to know themselves at a deeper level. Many ancient stories in religious texts, in cultural texts. Even in the Arthurian tradition, Merlin retreats to the woods, so does Taliesin. We are nature-dwelling creatures, we always have been. And it is time for us to return to the Great Global Garden. I would like to invite you to trust in this process. Your brother here will do everything in his power every day to help the wheels of this movement get turning. I know that you will too. For every seed that we plant, tomorrow could become an oak tree that shades our children, our children's children's children. And the acorns of that oak tree can become wonderful bread or cake or pancakes. Because did you know that acorns are some of the most wonderfully nutritious sources of food that you can find anywhere. Far better than wheat or barley. So stay here for a moment. Wander around your vegetable beds. Take a walk through your orchards. Go and give the oak tree a hug. Stand by the yew tree in the beech. Eat the samaras off of the elm tree in early or mid-spring. All of this and more is available to you in this future. It is where we are going, and nothing and no one will stop us. I'll leave you for a couple of minutes now, just to continue feeling the sensations, visualizing it with your mind, your third eye, feeling it in your heart, watching your children and your grandchildren enjoy this beautiful space of love, this perfect space of life. So take these moments now to really bring that into your being. Okay, my friends, as we are merging two of our meditations, with your permission, I would like to go back into our I am with you prayer. Let's cement that visualization with our I am with you prayer / poem to really bring it together. Excuse me. Great Spirit, we are with you, we are present, and we are here. We give thanks to the people of plant and stone, to the people who stand where their roots have now grown. We give thanks to those who crawl and who creep, to those with fins who swim in the deep. We give thanks to Great Eagle and those with wings, whose wisdom and truth Father Sky brings. We give thanks to the chiefs of fire and air, of water and Mother Earth, whose healing we bear. Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, you are the light, and we are the tune. Medicine walks reveal what you give, the language of love as the reason we live. Whirling rainbow brings a promise of peace, of uniting all nations, all peoples, and all creeds. From our hearts to our roots, to our crowns above, may we learn all of our lessons and be open to love. The presence of light, or Christ, resides in our hearts, when may we forgive all those who miss their mark, as well as ourselves when we stumble and fall, and fail to uphold the highest of all. We walk this path in service to others, for nature, children, our sisters and brothers. Our minds are quiet and our hearts revealed. The earth is restored and our children are healed. Danachot Wio, Great Spirit, it is said and it is good. Amen and Namaste. Okay then, my beautiful friends, I'll give you just a moment now, but whenever you're ready, please feel free to come back into the room. And when you're ready, guys, please feel free to pop in the comments down below one thing you're grateful for, one thing that came to you during that whole experience. Oh, there's some really lovely comments. A real creation. We have a wonderful future ahead. Imagine not having to work always. Yeah, there you go. You've just nailed it right on the head. Imagine not being a debt slave. What does that feel like? You know, it feels like peace on earth. Then, imagine how many people are more likely to be higher quality human beings. Sorry, higher quality character of human beings. That was a little bit rude, that what I said there. I'm personally grateful for all of you. I'm personally grateful for all of us holding that meditation. I really enjoyed doing that meditation with you all. I felt that was very powerful. Feeling viscerally, you know, afterwards when we were quiet, I was imagining eating the blackberries on my land, and it was just so beautiful. So beautiful. Lenny says, God gave us this imagination for a very great reason. We are using it perfectly. Yes, we are. Well said, my friend. Absolutely. Well said. Such a beautiful gratitude meditation. Thank you so much, Suzanne. That's lovely. Thank you for the love, Prince Royal. Lenny, amen. Wow, what a beautiful... Thank you, my friend. Lenny, that's very kind of you. Prince Royal says, an acorn split Pangaea into several... An acorn split... I don't know that story. I don't know that one, Prince Royal. That's very interesting. I'll have to look into that. Oh, Tree Dog, thank you. That was awesome. Very kind of you, my friend. Annie says, I'm grateful for your beautiful guided meditation, completely aligned with our heart's purpose and your special poem. Thank you, Annie. Very, very kind. Brizzy says, one of my hobbies is crocheting. I spent a bit too much on 100% alpaca yarn recently to make cardigans, hats, and headbands. Wow, I love that. If I would love to buy one at some point as well. That's amazing. Really good. Yeah, it's very powerful to create. That's the whole point again. You know, being able to make our own clothes. Now, of course, you know that there's levels to this. You know, there was a very Prince Royal or David, or was it who said about not everybody will want to have land or a garden or a forest garden. Somebody said that, and that's an extremely important point, but I can't remember who said it. Anika says, yes, peace on earth, but how to bring it about to have our piece of land and our gardens? Well, this is what the 7 pages are. So the 7 pages are to unite the people. The 7 pages are to tell people, like what we've been doing here, what is available to them. And then with the 7 pages, we're going to write a brief for Welsh Government where we can hopefully look at packaging everything together to be attractive enough for it to go through. So we do have something called the One Planet Development. We do have something called the Regenerative Farming Act. We do have something called the Future Generations Act here in Wales. So, you know, it's there. Katie says, I want to start a forest garden, but I'm an elderly disabled single person. That is an absolutely impeccable comment, and I appreciate you sharing that very much. This is why in our 7 pages, which I'm going to bring over in just a moment, this is why in our 7 pages we have this information. Okay? So not everybody is going to be able to create a 2.5 acre forest garden or even maintain it, and this is why our elders and people who are a little bit less able to do things are not only are not only equally looked after, but also we're looking at what they did in 1939. In 1939, 20 million people were growing vegetables. Why? Because they were given the chance to do so. So if, let's just say, Katie, that you aren't able to, you know, plant your forest garden. Sorry. There are 2 or 3 components here. First of all, a family of 5 gets given a forest garden, 2.5 acres, and they plant it and design it in their own time. Secondly, if forest gardens wanted to be planted quicker, and Anastasia speaks about this in her book as well, you could have a group of 30 or 40 people who go, or, well, 3 million, so there's about 3 million unemployed people in the United Kingdom. I'm one of them. That's so funny. That's so often said with like negative connotation, but I'm one of those 3 million unemployed. But I like to think that my efforts are what they are, yeah? So funny. So I'm one of those individuals, but if you had a workforce that went around each village that was being set up, you allow them to help you to plant the trees, help you to design it, go through it, and then so you sit back, do nothing, and they plant it for you. So don't forget, the whole point of a forest garden is that it does most of the work for us. Now, there are ways to design forest gardens that are a lot easier than other more involved ways. I'm more inclined to do it a little bit more involved. So I'm more inclined to design my forest garden in a little bit more of an involved way, but you can do it a lot easier. Okay, so the whole point is that we unite the people, we educate the people, we create the task force which allows to set up the villages and the forest gardens, and we include every single soul. So don't you worry, Katie, if there are a lot of things that you are unable to do because of health reasons or because of any other reasons. The whole point is we factor that in. That's why in the family of 5, let's just say on average, you might have a family of 10 people, right? But if you have an average family of size of 5, you could have a mother and a father, 2 children, and an elder, right? That'll, in a lot of cases, be a mother and a father, a grandpa and a grandma, and 2 kids, okay? If it's 4 kids, 4 grand, then so be it. There's ways. Again, this is a model that not only has to be proven, but it has to. I mean, it is proven in a lot of ways because obviously people are doing it. But the very visceral, literal examples are few and far between. Obviously, Russia is doing it with their domains, but there's a bit of research on that I need to look into with this gentleman too. So the idea is. That was a very nice drink. The idea is that you could have groups of people coming over, and I have experience of this. On the second farm that I was on, they would bring people over, sometimes up to about 20 to 25 people. Those people would be fed, they would be offered a little sort of like, I would offer meditations, I would offer forest bathing sessions. Okay, so I offered forest bathing sessions, I offered meditations, they were fed, they were watered. Okay, and those people helped to take tons of soil, yeah. So they took tons of soil up the hill. They took tons of wood chip. We literally built. I built probably about a 250 meters squared, probably bigger, vegetable lanes in about 6 hours because I had 20 to 25 people helping me. Right, so pride goeth before the fall. What do you mean? I like that answer. And perhaps in the future we can meet up in. What did I say? I can't remember what I said. Sorry, guys. Don't laugh, James. You are working for human. Oh, I'm only playing. Yeah, look. I am only playing. I don't care about the unemployed thing. I will never get a job again. I absolutely do not believe in it. Hands down. I will eat dirt, and if the universe doesn't provide for me, then I will just die. I ain't getting a job because this is where my whole focus. The work that we're doing is impeccable, and I have no problem suffering in order to make that happen. Because it's brutal at the minute. It's very tight for me. I know something will come along. We need to get these things ready and sorted, and when they do, the support will be astronomical. But we're in the building phase, and that's fine. I'm built for hardship. It's fine. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. I'm sorry if I've missed any very beautiful, important comments. I just really wanted to address what Katie had said, because we factor that in. There will be people, and there will be people who like Michael. Michael mentioned about not wanting to be a forest gardener, but yet he lives in a forest garden, and I kind of stumped him with that one because the point is that the land. I was half expecting James to say not to worry as his garden will be wheelchair accessible. Well, why shouldn't it be? You know, it's an interesting one. You know, that's a part of intelligent design. You know, so the importance of intelligent design is thinking about where things are, how you put things together. So you know, you could make sure that the pathways are clear, or just make sure that the community is helping. You know, there's that one too. So there are many levels to this. Love that. I wish I had that fortitude, James. Well, Leilu, I appreciate that very much, and you probably do. You know, the human spirit is very powerful. Human will, when it is really called upon, is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So, and fortitude is one of the Light of Albion's 7 virtues. So that's nice, Leilu. So it is presence, peacefulness, fortitude, temperance, kindness, authenticity, and humility. That are the 7 virtues that I live by day to day. It is the 7 virtues that the Light of Albion has created for other people to meditate upon. Okay? I know we've covered those before, but yeah. So I love that. Absolutely love that. I can imagine how fulfilling it will be to work together in person years from now after getting to know each other. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Of course, wouldn't it be lovely for us all to meet? You know, somebody asked about what about other countries. The entire point is that the entire I don't know what was going on there. The entire point is that Wales becomes the first model. One of the points in our document here is that the UK becomes a beacon. Now that doesn't mean that people won't follow suit prior to that, because they will. Okay, they absolutely will. People will pick this up quicker than we realise. But the whole point is that Wales seems to be making it easier for it to happen. Okay. Brizzy says, that does sound fun. I used to be a hostess at a restaurant, and there were a couple of ladies that said the group they were a part of was called Stitch, and I can't say that last word. It's very rude. I love that though. It's very funny. They were regular customers at the restaurant. Did I miss another comment? Very amazing. Oh, you're chatting with that. Okay, fair enough. Sorry, guys. So yeah, very interesting. So, like I say, no worries, Katie. There, you know, again, when we're exploring the idea of societal design, it is massive. You know, it's like factoring in people's needs. It's factoring in, okay, so this individual's sort of less able. So how do we look after that person? How do we offer that person the same opportunity that everybody else has? Because the only way that we can use the word ethical is if every single soul on the planet has an opportunity to this way of life. Now, the tricky part of that is this way of life will only ever work if we are upholding the highest levels of principles and morals and values. If we're not, I have personal experience, it won't work. That's why this gentleman, and I won't say it because that's his business, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say because we're on the same page. The Light of Albion was created in order to be a moral framework for people to follow. So the whole idea is that you help to teach people to heal from their past, and you help to teach people to live in harmony with one another and with nature. You know, Daniel says Wales is full of dragon power. Yes, it is, my friend. And Michael has a beautiful analogy that he says the white flag. So he says the white is Father Spirit, the green is Mother Earth, and the dragon is the will of the people. Mwah, chef's kiss. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. So there is a lot of Arthurian tradition here. There's a lot of mythology in this landscape, and it's very powerful. And Wales, ironically, is it's a very much a power. The whole of Earth is a power place, but there's something here. You know, King Arthur's energy is here. You know, I've had 3 people over the years mention about those things to me, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Keep that private. So King Arthur's energy is here. You know, I live in Lucas, Annie, and I live in a bowl of 13 mountains. Okay, the power here is very strong, and obviously, what's that lady's name? Nikki Allen's picking up on us anyway. I can't believe that. It's absolutely crazy. Gardens, Wales, Snowdonia is what she said, and we're literally, you couldn't be more Snowdonia. I walk out my door every morning, and I walk literally 20 steps, and I see the peak of the mountain right in front of me. The biggest mountain in the UK is right in front of me, right there. Probably shouldn't share that out loud. People will find out where I live. And Merlin, very true. And in the comments section, we've got a whole yarn and spinning conversation going on. Look, I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that. Rosie, I love that. Rosie says, "Nice one, Dad. Never heard him say that about the flag before." Yeah, I mean, obviously, very silly I'm saying this, but let me show you. Let me show you. All right, you guys ready for this? This is very cool. I actually, do you know what? Now I realised why I finished this folder 2 nights ago. So when I got back from all of our meetings, I hope my bum's not in the camera because that's very inappropriate. Let me just get this blue one and this pink one. There we go. So this here, as you will see, Michael and the Great Global Garden #2. Michael and the Great Global Garden #1. So Michael, my dear friend, Rosie's wonderful father, the work that man has done for planet Earth is outstanding. You know, so these are all, I've literally categorized all of his stuff in this folder. So that's what he gave me as his contents page. And then all of the stuff from 1999, all of the way through. I mean, a lot of it is what Michael and I have gone through together in the later years. So I've known Michael for what, 6 years now? 5 years? I don't know. So all of this is a lot of what Michael's done, you know, put it all together. So I've got it all in here. There comes a point where it goes through. There you go. I've got it right there. Let's see if we can see that, shall we? There we go. Oopsie. Here we are. Father Spirit, Mother Earth, and the dragon in between. So world change requires world models. He won't even know he's being shouted out at the minute because he hasn't got a computer anymore. But this is all of Michael's stuff. Big smart, big farmer, small farmer. Yeah. So that's a lot of what Michael's done. He's a fantastic mind. I'm very grateful to be able to be with him. This is another document of his, the Golden Age. Okay, right there. Again, the same symbol up the top. Isn't that funny? You know? And this is Michael's thing is very much holism and holism. And that, you know, when I heard that, I was slightly envious because I'm like, oh, you've nailed something there. You've nailed that idea of the total complete picture. And when we came up with the Great Global Garden, that's when I felt that within me. You know, I felt we've just got it. The Great Global Garden is everything. Every square inch of soil, every person, every plant, every tree. It is everybody. That's what the movement is. So it's a complete redesign of modern society. So there you go, from 1999 when I was 3 years old. Something Michael wrote. Suzanne, by the way, many of us. Sorry if I missed something. Amazing. Where you live, the land of Merning, I'm going to pull a card for us. Oh, lovely. Yeah, please do. Yeah, that's fantastic. And then it goes over into the second folder, which is right here, where there's a few more bits and pieces. You can see there. He's wrote down James because that's what we've gone through loads together. You know, Michael and I, we've particularly, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Michael's garden. He's spent a lot of time with me here, a lot of time in coffee shops. We've been doing this for a long time. Michael 50 years, me for ever since I was 10, 21 years, 31. I'm 31 years old now, guys. I'm 31 years of age. 31 years. Where's my other little folder? The last one that I'm going to show you, because this is a lot of what we did together as well. You see, I love organising stuff like this because when I go out and speak to people, what I was showing you, all folder images, I'm going to print a lot of that off because it's really good material. When you're chatting with people, they're like, "Oh, what's the forest garden, James?" And you just get your folder out and you show everybody. So 7 pages are going in here at the minute. They're not done yet. They're going to look slightly different in time. But one thing that did happen, this was what we did. So this is the Gaia Earth Trust. This was a constitution that we wrote, which was designed to acquire land in order to give land back to the people. That was done in 2023. This was where we were going to go be on BBC. What a joke. We were going to be on the BBC, Big Circus Media, and we were going for a farm called Llyndy Isaf. Now, this document here is absolutely epic. I can't believe... I know why they didn't choose us, because we would have exposed loads of the way things are, but we nailed it. You know, this thing was incredible. We had a team of like 12 people. Rosie, I don't know if you know of Ankharad. Oh, my goodness. I can't remember what she chooses to go by, to her other name. Well, Angharad, you know, there was loads of people that were sort of a part of our team. So we had like rich history, the vibrant ecology, and the future empowerment. So the idea is that we're, you know, leveraging the past. So, you know, thousands of hours has gone into this stuff over the 6 years, guys. You know, we've been on this a very, very long time. Anyway, where am I? My goodness, how long have we been talking for? Is it really that time? Don't tell me we're ready for another meditation. We can't be. Maybe we'll link the last two again as well, because this is really powerful stuff we're going through. 7 pages, guys. 7 pages. So what we're doing at the minute, we'll start here. So these pages, at the minute, there's a lot there. I don't know what these are going to end up looking like. I'm sorry I'm not getting through a lot of the comments as well. We're doing a lot of talking, aren't we, guys? I feel like you guys are enjoying the clothing side of the solution for the Earth, which I really like. If anybody wants to make me a new pair of shorts, then please feel free to, because almost all of them has holes in. Deborah says, Brother James, would you allow us someday to visit your wonderful forest garden in person? Deborah, you absolutely can, because I'm going to be visiting yours as well. So you can visit mine, I can visit yours. We can experience what we've created on this planet. It's going to be marvellous. So absolutely, you can come and stay, without a doubt. I love you guys so much. Lenny says, 2 dragons are buried in Snowdonia trying to find out the name of the story. That is the story of Dinas Emrys. It is where the dragons were taken from London, pretty sure, London around that area, and they were brought all of the way over to the base of Dinas Emrys, because Merlin said that Vortigern's tower kept falling down, and Merlin said, the reason why is because you've got 2 dragons battling under the ground, and so they had to free them. And then after doing that, they had to then bring them. And so it is said, and I've visited the place quite a few times, it's a wonderful place. It is said that the dragons are at the bottom of that sort of lake. It's a really special, precious place there. Excuse me. So yes, you're referring to Dinas Emrys, my friend. Excuse me. The Mabinogion talks about, I believe it's the Mabinogion. I have a lot of more study to do on that, considering I'm an Arthurian tradition enthusiast. Right, guys. So can you see this okay? Does it need to zoom in? Where are we at? I can probably zoom in there and just go through. So as you can see there, that's the full page. The very top says, restoring every square inch of the earth, the sovereignty and freedom of our people, our soils, ecosystems, wildlife, the quality of food on our plate, and our children's future. Right? Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to come up here. Michael has given me some corrective notes, but this is actually the main version. All right? So we have 7 pages. Peace on Earth, the vision. Global collapse, the problem. I'm very meticulous with being as clear as possible with explanation. You know, we're having a conversation now about these titles are probably a bit too much, which is probably true. But I like to really be, you know, very thorough. Number 3 is the Great Global Garden, which is the solution, which is the forest garden homesteads. It is everything that it does. Number 4, up the top here, you can see this here. Your 2.5 acre homestead, the template for a living paradise garden. Number 5 is the steps, how we achieve it. So what you can see here is, this is the vision, this is the problem, this is the solution, these are the how. Now this is as far as we've got. Next week this might look completely different. Okay, so Lucas is helping with this, Michael is helping with this, we're going through it. At some point, guys, I would like your help with it. So when these are at a position where we're happy with them, I would like to send them to all of you so that you can all have a look through, give pointers and suggestions and ideas, and then maybe as we integrate some of the things that are said or not, we make sure these pages are ready and we get on with it and we do it. Soul Coach Suzanne, 3 cards came out, Disruption, the Water Fairy, and the Hawk from the Wisdom of Avalon deck for our group today. Very interesting. And the Hawk from the Wisdom of Avalon. You do understand that here in Wales, there is something referred to, there is a mound, which is known as, I'm assuming it's Gwyn something. Rosa, you might know this, but it's Gwyn something, and it basically represents White Eagle. So White Eagle is a presence here, which comes through the books, The Light of Britain, The Light in Britain. These are by a woman called Grace Cook. Yeah? She channels a guide called White Eagle. I'm very connected to that guide. I think I've told you guys before. I am very, very connected to that guide. But there is also something to be said about the leucistic red kites or the leucistic hawks that are here. So that's very interesting that you pulled that out. We're certainly disrupting things. We're certainly tapping into the water fairies, which is the Lady of the Lake, right? I know for a lot of you, you might find that I'm not so connected to the elementals in that way. I'm more connected to the Lady of the Lake. You know, people say they, you know, all those things. That's not really where I go for some reason. Sorry, elementals, if you're fully out there. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I know you know that I love you anyway. But I tend to move towards the Lady of the Lake, so you could class that as the water fairy, could you not? The Fae. So the Fae from Avalon, the Lady of the Lake, the Lady of Sovereignty, the Maidens of the Wells, these are known as the Fae. Okay, Fae fairy. And then you've pulled the hawk from the Wisdom of Avalon. Yes. And then obviously we have the Light of Albion, which is connected to King Arthur. King Arthur was taken to Avalon, set to return when the land was in dire need, and the land needed to be restored, and the people needed to be restored to the land. King Arthur is said that him and the knights will return. Isn't that interesting? What do you make of that one? So, beautiful cards. Thank you so much for pulling those. Beautiful. Very interesting. So am I, Deborah. So am I. Okay, right, guys. How do you feel about where we're at? Have you enjoyed today? I hope so. We've gone through the that document which was all to do with the elements of the homestead. I wanted to show you that because I think it was powerful to see some visual aids. You know, pictures and things are very powerful. And now we are exploring the 7 pages. I don't know. I'm James Brizzy. I have had 3 random people who I've never met before in my entire life turn around to me and say either they've said you were King Arthur, weren't you? Or, hi, King Arthur, I have this to tell you. Or it's been weird. Brizzy, it's been weird. And then a 4th example the other week, Annie and I were in Tesco. The round table, we just had to leave the round table and go to Tesco, as you do. And a woman walked past with James Arthur on her t-shirt. And it was in really weird writing. You couldn't really read it properly. And I looked, and it was like completely out of the blue. And I looked, and I'm like, that can't be. So I went up to this woman, and because she I was umming and ahhing, and I thought I have to ask this person. So I went up and I went down the aisle. I said, "Excuse me," and she goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Does that say James Arthur?" And she goes, "Yeah, it does." And I'm like, I just needed to know because I'm like, it's really weird. It's very uncanny. Do you know? She turned to me. She was with a friend, and she turned to me and she says, "It's so weird you say that because I literally said to my friend this morning that I never wear this t-shirt outside." So, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what is important is that what are we doing now in this present moment to lead us to a future that is beneficial. You know, I don't like to make massive claims because it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. What matters is am I a man who is genuine and authentic, living to what I say that I live to, upholding the values and the disciplines that the Light of Albion has? If those boxes are being ticked, fantastic. If they're not, you can have every title under the sun and it means absolutely nothing because it is only the character of an individual and the authenticity of that character which will ever bring any goodness into the world. So I like to keep myself to the highest standard possible, and you know, sometimes it isn't always achievable. You know, life is life. Do you own Excalibur? Where's my sword? I called my sword the Blue Rose, if you wanted to know. So I called Lucas and I forged a sword together. He's got his sword, I've got my sword. We forged a sword at a blacksmith for 3 days. And the Blue Rose is an interesting story about the feminine version of Excalibur. And it's said that if the Blue Rose is nurtured, the land prospers. So I do own a sword. I'm not tired, Yelena. I'm feeling very good. And I'm sorry, we're going to... Soul Coach Sandra James, I'm guessing that an aspect of King Arthur incarnated into you. This is possible. I know a lot about this type of thing. It's called a soul braid. Well, that's a really lovely way to say it. But I do just want to say to you guys, as we're having this conversation, it will always be met by humility with me, because it's a very bold claim. Will I ever make that? I mean, I've just made it. You know, we've just talked about it just now. It's not something I've Why do I not like doing it? Because it's very grand. People, and in that grand idea, people can separate, you know, and I hate that idea. Very rarely use that word, but I hate that idea. We are all one. We are all together here and now. We are all a part of the same journey, and that's all that matters. So I love that, Rosie. I love that, Rosie. And it makes sense. It makes definite sense. You know, it's like everything people say about the return of Jesus or Yeshua, and Michael and I always say it's the return of that consciousness in everybody, and that's what that is what David used to say. You know, this is an awakening within everybody. It's not about individual characters anymore. We tried that. You know, that was what happened in the past. Books are written about many souls that kept coming back to demonstrate something to the world. Now we know it's got to be everybody, right? It's got to be everybody. Laylu, I agree with you, and that's so ironically. Nicole, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in, Nicole. Pleasure to have you here. Shapeshifter, thank you for tuning in. Sorry if I missed any comments, Shapeshifter. What's King Arthur? Interesting. Have you heard of the Arthurian tradition? King Arthur, Guinevere, Excalibur, the Lady of Sovereignty, the Lady of the Lake, Merlin. Have you seen the movie Excalibur? Very, very old film. Absolute classic. Wonderful film. Really, really good. Definitely recommend watching that. Appreciate that, Suzanne. I do appreciate that. It's very kind of you. But again, the world has had enough of. It's had enough of, you know, this idea of grand individuals. It's had enough of that. You know, I've been humbled so many times in my life when I've been really in dire need. People out of nowhere have come to help me. You know, so yeah. All right, Annie, if you're watching, my sword is downstairs on the stairs. If possible, would you be able to bring my sword and my staff? Isn't that funny? Could you bring my sword and my staff up to the room, please? That would, yeah. Let's show everybody. We'll show them. Why not? Brizzy says Merlin is apparently a Slytherin. It's interesting. Well, what's a snake? It's a reptile. What's a dragon? It's a reptilian type sort of character, you know. So just the whole idea of the dragons and the snakes is very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Yes, but not everyone has to awaken that way, though. Some are just getting started on their soul journey. They haven't yet learned the lesson necessary. Absolutely, yeah, of course. Of course, you know, everybody in their own time, my friend. Oh, that was quick. Thank you. And do you have the staff as well? Yeah, you do. Oh, great. Thank you very much. So, I don't even know if I've got enough space here. So this is my sword, which I undisclosedly disclosed. I didn't publicly call it the Blue Rose. That's my sword that we forged. It's a bit rusty now because I don't have a workshop, so I can't work on my sword. The wisdom of the serpent, absolutely. There is wisdom, you know, the Native Americans, transmutation, the shedding of the skin, transmutation of poisons. Ooh, sparks from their teeth igniting the glass in their bellies. Very interesting. Chills returning. Curious. So, that is it. So we did this because it was a way of us really sort of... It was just a bit symbolic, you know. Symbolism is what it is, you know. Is it necessary? No. But that's what we made. So that's my sword. Which one day... I've done quite a few little bits and pieces with it. I took it when I did the the pilgrimage with those ladies, doing the echoes of Albion. Yes, Albion means white, and it is the so basically it means the land of the White Land. That's what this is, but it doesn't mean race-wise. Katie says, I guess the king didn't take you up on your challenge to a duel. No, I sent the letter and I sealed it with the thing and everything, and I haven't heard back yet. Asana, I did. I forged it myself over 3 days. It was an incredible experience. Although I ended up driving up north to do a 3 Peaks challenge, which I didn't realise how far that was. So I had 2 hours sleep after 3 days of blacksmithing, and it absolutely annihilated me. However, it was a part of my sort of like initiation, if you will. And this is my staff. So I've got a little dambarite crystal in the top there, a buzzard feather, because I've got loads of buzzard feathers. I found them in the wild so many times. I wrapped paracord isn't particularly natural, so a little bit icky on that one. But I basically, when we went to Kai Mabon, we were rethatching a roundhouse, Lucas and I, and we were getting some hazel branches, and this fell off. So they cut it as an offcut, and I'm like, that's a staff, all right? So I've walked up to the top of Snowdon with this staff before. I've went up to different mountains with this before. So, yeah, it's I prepared it, dried it, oiled it, and I'm sure there's some kind of... James is cool. You were born in the wrong century, my friend. Yeah, apparently. Apparently so. Yeah, so I'm sure there's sort of different pictography. Is it pictography? I know it's pyography, but different like sort of little images and things. Because symbolism's fine, you know. I don't want to put, you know, but like maybe some nice little tree patterns and leaves and things would go on here eventually. So yeah, gorgeous woodwork. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Well, it's amazing because I've had it such a long time now. Took me a while to get it all sorted. It's just flaxseed oil, I think. Flaxseed is what I used. All of guys have this thing for sticks and swords. It's weird. Look, okay. Well, put it this way. If it ain't your cup of tea, then at least when I'm old, I'll have a walking stick, yeah? So... Prince Royal says, dragons, swords, staffs, King Arthur, Merlin, Harry Potter, Bilbo Baggins' home, blacksmithing and worm tea. Most British stream I've ever been a part of. That's very funny. Brizzy says, have you stopped a monster by saying you shall not pass? I have. I have reenacted that with this sword and staff, I have to admit. Oh. In my indigenous work, your staff is the most important tool of protection. Wow. Well, I was also told some interesting things when we went on that pilgrimage, but, you know, like I say, I don't know. It's like this is a very personal thing to me. I don't share it very often. I mean, we've been live, this is our 13th live, and it's the only time that I've shown you these things, so... Is it? No, I've shown my sword before, but I don't think I've shown my staff. So there you go. There you go, guys. Would you have believed, eh? Would you have believed? Asana says, James, this is so beautiful. You put your energy into it, which no one else will take away. Lovely. Appreciate that very much. Did I miss any comments? Imagine a tavern called the Sword and Staff. Yeah, well, that's gonna have to be on the land, isn't it? We're gonna have to make a little tavern selling herbal teas and mead. Called the Sword and Staff. I like it. I wish I could still walk around legally with a katana. Well, I have to admit, I've taken that on many pilgrimages, so I haven't been arrested yet, though. Oh, dear. Yes, Asana. So I think I did forge it myself. Nagas are reptilian. They taught us humans yoga. Yes, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I have heard that. Because, again, in the wooden books, it's got a dragon part in the geomancy side. And it goes into the symbolism of dragons in ancient cultures and present cultures. So, yeah. Yeah, Annie to the rescue. Absolutely. Beautiful. Cool. There you go. Bit of show and tell, guys. I wish I could share our photos here of our first adventure in Killuvi. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, maybe we can do it next time. But, yeah, I took that sword on that journey too, which was very, very cool. Alright, guys. A year ago, I was making and painting walking sticks the trees provide. Yes, they do. Daniel, I've got a dip, bro. This has been a blast. No worries, my friend. Have a lovely week, and hopefully we'll catch you next Sunday, buddy. You take care of yourself. Israel says, I want a staff now. Well, find a tree. If you've got a good solid branch, you can keep it, prepare it. You got yourself a walking stick. Yes, very interesting shapeshifter. Very, very interesting. Absolutely. All right, guys. Coming back. So, full monitor. 7 pages. All right, 7 pages to restore our world. It is Hazel. Yes, it is. Well done, Lenny. Good identification, my friend. It's Hazelwood. Oh. Let me have a bit more, actually. One sec, guys. Tea is my favourite. Let's build a village and be nerdy gardeners and hobbit homes. Absolutely. Right. So the idea is we share the vision. We do go into the problem because a lot of people are recognizing it, and then we deliver immediately the solution. Okay, the solution again is a return of our people to our land. And then in here, the purple is basically, again, it's all in the works still, but it was kind of this idea of a tagline, right? So we've got peace on earth through our piece of earth. That's a very much a Michael thing. The second one is soil has become desert, nature is becoming barren, and our food and life along with it. That's very unfortunate, but at least it at least it draws us in. You know, it draws us in and it connects us with what is happening, and a lot of people will recognize that. And then number 3, one of my personal favorites and one of Michael's personal favorites, the forest garden, the most abundant ecosystem on earth, satisfying every need of everyone. Boom. I like it. All right, don't you like that? I know that when Michael read that, he was like, that's the tagline for this page, right? The forest garden, the most abundant ecosystem on earth, satisfying every need of everyone. Okay? Every need of everyone. Appreciate that, Blah. James is coming out. Little by little, love it. The lion spirit speaks. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you very much. Asana, thank you. Oh, bless you, Danielle. You too. Hopefully see you soon. Yeah, you take care, my friend. We'll catch you next week. Lenny says, I learned about Hazel Staffs from the Story Crow channel. Well, I don't know about the Hazel Staffs in that way, my friend, so you'll have to educate me. Love that, Gail. My walking sticks were mostly oak. That's incredible. Would love to have an oak one day. So coming up to the top here, remember the right-hand side is the how. That's been the biggest thing that people have said over the 6.5 million views that we've had over 3 months. They've said, that's fantastic, James, but how? Okay, so these pages are going to explain that to people. I feel they're going to expand because the conversations I've been having with Michael and this gentleman from Scotland, they have been expanding. Okay, there is an interesting thing here. Again, I won't reveal that too much yet because that's what he's doing, but there's a huge amount of alignment with us. So what we had said was that in the beginning, number 4 is your 2.5 acre homestead. Again, it just kind of, it connects with people with the land. You bring those two components together, which is imperative. Any solution that is not uniting the people and the land is, you know, it ain't a solution. So this one is I and me. This is how I look after myself, right? Number 5 is you and me. This is how we make it happen. Number 6 is us and them. So now we're taking 4 and 5 and bringing it together. Us and them. We have done it now. Let's go and find them so they can do it. So it's reaching out. It's different scales. You know, it's going from the individual to the family to the village to the county to the country. You know, it's about we've done it here. Let's now find other people who are going to do it so that we can come together. And then the final one is everyone and all. We did it. They did it. And now all can do it. I actually really like it. Now that I read it back, I like it. You'll have to give me your feedback, guys, but I really like that. You know, I and me, you and me, us and them, everyone and all. Yeah, I think that's chef's kiss. And that's when I wrote that when I was up until 3 in the morning. But I went to my... Oh, I'm getting so fantastical here. I like to keep things grounded, and we've gone through 3 of the most fantastical concepts ever. But I was talking to my trees on my walk, and I just said to them, please help me bring through the words. that are going to really nail this. You know, that we're going to get this into the hearts of as many people as possible. And that was, you know, a lot of this stuff came from there. So to be clear, so we've got the 2.5 acre homestead. We've got the 5 steps which make that village work. Yes. So educate and unite the people. Obtain the land and the support. That's the resources, the finances, the people. So what Katie was saying. Yeah, that's that second part there. Then it goes, create eased legal routes and give land living person rights. We are dealing with AI data centers, we're dealing with red tape, we're dealing with councils, we're dealing with governments. It all stinks, okay? So that's why it's imperative that if they've made living person rights for one collective of ecosystems, forests, rivers, coral reefs, lakes, etc., why can we not do it with more? Why can we not do it with the world? All right? Oh, I appreciate that, Leilu. Well, you know, it's a very... I'm not going to claim that there's a direct dialogue. It's just that feeling. You're communicating with nature. Nature is alive. That message is going out elsewhere. You know, think about it. Like Avatar. You're communicating with that tree. You know, is it being picked up by the mycelial networks? Yeah? Maybe? What do they call it? The wood-wide network? Yeah? It's interesting. Number 4, scale through thriving community support. So, Katie, bless you, my dear. I'm sorry that you've become such a topic of this part here. I hope you don't mind. But the whole point is, once you've started to get established villages, it becomes much more easy to support your neighbour. It becomes easier to send people elsewhere. It becomes wood-wide network. Thank you, Shapeshift. Oh, no. Oh, okay. You might have been saying it out. I don't know if you were confirming. Apparently, that's what they say. So the www, what is it they say? The Wood Wide Web. I think that's it. So they talk about the mycelium network. I think it's nice and playful. So the idea is that you've then got scale through thriving community support. Okay? And that's why it says, once we have done it, now we can help them to do it. So that's all of the people that are wanting this way of life, might not be able to do it themselves. That's how we do it. You know, we start to help those people to get on land, we support them, etc., etc., etc. We make it happen, okay? And then eventually we do the great task, plant for victory. It's a play on the words of dig for victory, and it's basically saying mass mobilization through collective participation. And participation is up to you, right? You want a 2.5 acre homestead, that's your participation. You want to, as the beautiful conversation earlier, you want to make alpaca and wool clothing, that can be your participation. Whatever the participation of the individual at different scales, individual, family, village, county, country, there will be different scales of participation, and the whole point is that everybody starts to find their way. Yeah, everybody starts to find their purpose. Everybody starts to find their place in the world. I bet Annie is sick of it. You must play with these toys all the time, huh? She must roll her... she's the one normally swinging the sword around, fighting off the... No, she's not like that. She's... we were literally... Just before, I was unwinding before the live, and I've got this weird, silly boxing headband thing. So you stick a headband on your head, and there's a ball on the end, and I was just giving it a bit of this, and she was doing the same thing. And yeah, we're very easygoing here. We're very relaxed and casual. We're not. That's not kind of what we do. 2.5 British Imperial acres is a lot less than the 40 acres and a mule Lincoln gave the freed slaves. Absolutely. Do you mean... Sorry, James, you'll have to expand on that a little bit, my friend. Probably important that I know that. So if you're sharing that, that's really powerful, my friend. Annie and Mama, could you please write down the idea of 40 acres and a mule with Lincoln, please? Because that's something I would like to look into. Thank you for that, James. I appreciate that very much. Of course, we have... we've got... That's what these 7 pages are. The numbers are in these pages. Okay, so the source links for this, the numbers are in here. Again, we are never going through this in the entirety of this in this live. But if I just quickly Oh yeah, they're variations. 1 second. So we've got the summary page, but then we start to go on to the. Hold on. We go on to the 2.5 acres, and we explain it in here. Now I'm waiting for some figures, but if you read this, President Lincoln and 40 acres and a mule, please. Very interesting. I haven't gone researched into that. So that's very good, James. Appreciate that, mate. There's a set of numbers in here that are inaccurate. I'm waiting for a guy to get back to me who has the numbers. All right. The only thing we don't have is the calorific yield, but we do have the tonnage. Okay. So from a 0.2 acre vegetable patch, you can make, what was the action? 4.5 tons. If you want that video is by Hugh Richards in Wales. He literally had a 32th of an acre, he called it. It's like, I don't know, 200 square meters, something like that, maybe a bit less. He was able to produce 750 kilos from that amount of land. You take that up to 0.2 acres, it's about 4.5 tons. Okay? So we are combing this document meticulously. Oh, I didn't have it on the full monitor. There it is. We are combing this document meticulously. It needs to be ripped apart so that we can make sure that everything in here is... I mean, there's hundreds of hours I've gone into this. I am making sure that you know, like, for example, here, the timber system. This is right on the money. I have the source links for all of this, people who are actually doing it. So you can make 2 tons of firewood on 1/4 of an acre. Yeah, and the rest of your woodland can just be wild. Okay? So these pages, if I just scroll out here, so the summary page, which is here, you're not going to be able to read it. It's far too small. This is the summary page, and these are the 7 pages. All right? These take each of the elements of the summary page and expand on it significantly more. All right, so this one here is the vision. Again, I won't show you it all yet because it's not finished. Okay, you can see the amount of hours that have gone into this though. We'll do a video for this as well, so there will be a video. This one's slightly adjusted actually. But anyway, the point being is that we're delivering. We're seeking to deliver this material, give people videos to watch in time as well. Then we'll set up the website, if and when I can bloody afford it. We'll set up the website, we will set up the email, and we will get going. Shapeshifter, how many people do you have in your team? It's Lucas, Michael, and I have been on this a very long time. Annie has joined us now as well. About 4 who are on this all the time. We did have, you know, there are other people. Once this is done and finished, these pages, there will be a lot more people who join. I do have my dear soul sister Megan who's helping me, so she's also a part of my team. But she's, you know, we're just going through bit by bit with that. So the team size has gone up and down over the years, but we're still at it. Yeah, very funny, Annie. I usually see James within a book or watching games. Yeah, you do indeed. Sounds like a cat toys, Annie. And yeah, our cat was mortified at what was going on. He kind of came home and he was like, what on earth is going on here? It's very good, though. It's good for reflexes. Good for the brain. So I like doing it. Also, where is this land? We don't have any land at the minute. Okay, so we've been on 2 plots of land before. It didn't work out. So the land is what we're waiting for, my friend. But will it be in Wales? I mean, again, why are we in Wales? Because of the One Planet development. You know, they've already trying to ease the restrictions, and that's why this is one of those places that... And we've got lots of connections around here, lots of contacts. You know, there are people who are doing it. You know, natural building is here. There's a guy who's doing very incredible intensive horticulture, and it's working, you know. So there's a lot of stuff that we've got going for us in Wales. Absolutely. James, 2.5 British Imperial acres is a lot less than... Oh, I thought you elaborated. Sorry, James. If you are still here, please feel free to elaborate. I would love to know. Yes, no level of participation is grander than another. Absolutely. Nailed it. I couldn't say it better myself. My friend gave it to me, supposed to be Excalibur. What's that? I can't... I have a sword too. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, well, I'd love to know where that was from. The information about that. Okay. Lars says, love the stick and swords. Cool for a t-shirt or a podcast. Sticks and swords. From the lion. Very interesting. Maybe one day. That sounds good. Maybe when I have to be less serious in the public face and I can be a little bit more. A little bit. Although I am going to be a wolf god in about 7 days. So I'm going to be a wolf god with a wolf pelt and I'm going to be shouting, "Who am I? Who am I?" Yeah, I'm going to be a wolf god for Lucas. Well, Shapeshifter, everywhere's got hope. You know, everywhere's got hope because we're here, my friend. You know, that's the entire point. Just because restrictions are intense at the minute does not mean that it will not change. Okay? Does not mean that it will not change. That's the whole point. I heard Putin is giving away free land. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, Ringing Cedars of Russia. That's what these books are, my friend. Let me just zoom out. My phone finally died. Yeah, it did. No more music then. That's what these books are. So, Mr. Putin is doing it. What do we say about that then, guys, eh? With all the stuff that's being said about Russia and all that stuff. It's all bizarre, isn't it? But in Russia, they're doing it. Thousands and thousands of homesteads. Restoring the world. What do we do, eh? Prince Royal, I heard Wales wants to separate. I don't know if it's true. Well, I'm sure they all do, you know. Not India, lol. Well, look, Shapeshifter, nowhere am I going to say you're wrong. I don't know the governmental, democratic, economic state of India. It's not something that I've got a great deal of knowledge in, but, you know, we got to believe that things are capable of being brought back from the brink, you know. I don't know what the future holds. All I know is that I can only do my bit from my place in the world, and hopefully that it'll be so inspiring, so wonderful, and so beautiful that more people around the world will take part. I do know there are the women in India who are doing the natural growing using food forests, and they're doing an amazing job. So, you know, I think there are examples. You know, I think that there are examples. I need to look into that. Annie, could you write down the ladies of India, please, who are doing the horticulture and the growing, because they're doing a fantastic job. So ladies from India, thank you again for being so present that I can say that and that you will write it down. That's very good. All right then. Okay, guys. I think we're going to go back to... It's not me. That's Lucas's baby, Deborah. So that is Lucas. He's got multiple characters. He's been very successful with it. We're doing it at Harlech Castle and at Crickith Castle. I'll probably end up showing you a picture on one of the lives because we will have done a few by then. But basically, we spend the day there. We're in character. You know, I eventually then become the dragon tamer. So I bring a big animatronic puppet dragon out. The kids love it. The parents love it because it's a good bit of fun. And we talk about the mythology and the historical stuff, and you know, I that's Lucas's baby. I did do a lot of acting in plays when I was in school, but that's his creation, and I'm helping him with it. You know, by being one of the characters or two of them. So yeah. All right, guys, I have really enjoyed tonight, can I say? So I've enjoyed going through all of this stuff with you. It's kind of interesting. 13 weeks now, and we're only just going through this. I enjoyed watching David's meditation. We're going to go back to that meditation and sort of weave in one. And then we're getting close now. We've only got 10 minutes left, so we've really got to get into it now. So I really apologise, guys. Jack, welcome, my friend. Have you been here long? I was distracted on a call for a few. Was he just talking about the Ringing Cedars books? Yes, I was, my friend. All 10. We were going to talk about the prison story in book 7, but that's basically a whole hour segment. We've been talking about the Great Global Garden, the 7 pages, the document that I have which explains homesteads at a very, very high level. But yes, you're absolutely right, my friend. The Anastasia books are very much a part of what we're doing. And the gentleman who we met on Thursday and Friday, who's a very interesting character, he also teaches from the Anastasia books. So I haven't been publicly acknowledging it because, you know, book 1 goes straight into UFOs. You know, for the average public, that's really hard to swallow. You know, so the stuff in that books is absolutely magnificent. The idea of returning to the land is completely rational and logic. To me, there is absolutely nothing far out about that. Conceiving, growing, and raising a child in a domain and having that child born in that domain and it being a space of love and the child being recognized, again, to me is completely rational. I can't understand why anybody would ever think that it's not. It is, my friend. It is. Absolutely. Yeah. So there are book 7. Last week we talked about the priest and the slave and how it went to a coin instead of it being whips. Coins were the thingy. So thank you, Jackknife. Really appreciate that, my friend. All right, guys, let's come back over. It's a shame. I could keep going, but, you know, look, we've done a great live here. This is good because this content, you know, going through the 7 pages, we can do this for multiple weeks. It's going to get very hard for me because it's going to be very busy with what we're doing with the 7 pages and everything that's happening. So let's go with it. So let's go back to this meditation with David, my friends, and then we'll merge, you know, 4 and 5 today, if that's okay. I think what we've been talking about is meditation enough, you know? So, right, let's come back here, 320. Okay. I'll come out the way. Camera. All right, my friends, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Get settled. We're almost there now. If it's okay, we'll go through as much of this meditation as we can, and then we'll come back and say our goodbyes. Lots of love, guys. See you in a sec.
Says Frank Barter. All right, that's good. We are moving through now. Oh, get that going. Close your eyes. Put both feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Just let it go. We thank you, Father, Mother, God, for your many gifts, for your many blessings. We thank you for bringing us here today to share in this fellowship and communion with one another. We understand that we are going through a very difficult time. We understand that there are many issues facing us at this point in history. And we are admonished by your own will that we seek to become one with one another. We seek to iron out our differences, to rise above our petty squabbles, and seek to find that unifying coherence that is love. How we may approach that love, how we may learn to live in your glory, seeking your higher power in however form we can find it. We are so grateful for the gifts that you share with us, for the joy that you bring us, for the time that we spend knowing that you are here, that we are whole and pure, that everything is good. We are grateful for this time to be together with one another. We are grateful for this time to share each other's presence. And we are grateful for the living consciousness that is available in our breath. As we breathe in healing for planet Earth, easing the stress in these areas of flashpoints, praying for a positive outcome for whatever we may be seeing in the world. As we breathe out simplicity, surrender, positivity, and love. Knowing that we have so much to gain by being able to be here with each other, coming together in fellowship and community, and finding the common ground that we share. We are grateful for you, O Father, Mother, God. We are grateful for you, Christ consciousness. We are grateful for you, infinite Creator, giving us the tools that we need to elevate ourselves, to be able to once again remember who we really are, how we got here, and where we are going. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to being in your presence. We look forward to being with you. And we know that it's only a short distance away. How soon we will be free, how soon we will revivify. And we have a glimpse of that now. We breathe in your radiant, glorious presence. We are here now with you in this loving space. And we thank you so much for all that you've given us. We thank you for your divinity. We thank you for your honesty. We thank you for your peace and trust. We thank you for showing us the way, showing us the truth, showing us the life, showing us this understanding that is available to everyone if we were but to take stock of it and keep it in our hearts and keep it in our minds and souls.
I hope it's okay, guys, but we are literally about 4 minutes left. So I've had to stop that a little bit soon. That's my fault. I hope it's okay with you guys. If you were deep in meditation, I do apologise. Please feel free to come back. Love you lots, Mum. I'll ring you shortly. So everybody, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, as usual, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me today. It means a huge amount to me. It has been absolutely fantastic to chat with you all. I appreciate you all very much. Conversations never go stale when we're chatting on these lives. It's really incredible. I'm excited for the future. You know, much like David is and was. You know, I'm excited for what's to come because we're doing amazing things. You know, the more people that have something to unite together with, to rally together with, the more that we start to see the change in our world. You know, having these conversations with you allows me to continue to refine my conversation, continue to refine what we're talking about, so that when I go out there into the world in August, I'm going to a talk with a group of people and I'll be presenting this in public to those people. So this is massive practice for me. So I appreciate you all. Suzanne, we all have to visualize this forest garden and live in harmony with each other. I agree with you completely. Guys, we're going to be saying our goodbyes now. We've got 3 minutes, so get them into the comments. I appreciate you dearly. Lucas has obviously been away at work, so he's not been able to join us today, but he's working very hard. So Victoria, Lenny, Shapeshifter, Rosie, absolutely wonderful. So glad I joined tonight. Thank you so much, Rosie. I will talk with you soon. I'll send you a voice note. I'm going to get a bit of a snooze tonight. I'm going to be going to Bangor tomorrow, but I will catch up with you soon. And it's really lovely news. Your dad did mention he was coming to spend time with you, so incredible. I love that. And just going through as well, somebody mentioned about the... oh, I've missed it. It's gone too far. Hold on. Whoopsie. Nicole, thank you so much. That's so cool. I used to do 1800s reenactments called Trail of Courage in Rochester, Indiana, demonstrating handspring and sheep's wool. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. James, if you're still here, we have gone through certain things with land, why it doesn't work when you're only tilling the land. Tilling the land means that you do have to use enormous amounts of land and it does not produce enough. Okay, so there are many concrete, scientific, studied examples where forest gardens and horticulture alongside it can produce colossal amounts of food, not including what you get from honey and mushrooms and eggs and things. I'm obviously a vegetarian, although I do have eggs. That's the only one thing I do have because I haven't changed that yet. But if you do eat meat, that's obviously needs more land, so that's a conversation for a different design. But, you know, 40 acres with tilling land, so turning over the soil, wrecks the soil. But we'll have that conversation next time, my friend. So I appreciate you all very much. A Real Creation, Soul Coach Suzanne, Gail, Anika, Enlightenment 101, Brizzy. Thanks, James. We are coming together and creating our own things and clothes as well as gardens. I love that. Yay, thanks for everything you do, James. I appreciate you very much, and I appreciate you. You know, being able to make our own clothes is going to be a massive part of what we're going to be doing because it's about that self-reliance. I'll try and find something worth posting on Facebook group. Asana, love it. Hugs to all. Asana, thank you for being here. Lydia, Prince Royal, Nicole, Tree Dog, Brizzy, Gail, Lenny, Leilu. If I've missed anybody, I apologise. Deborah, Shapeshifter, Israel, appreciate you all very much. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. You know, we are continuing 13 weekends right? All of the stuff that David went through, we are still honouring that gentleman. We are still doing the meditations. We are still talking about peace on earth. We are still talking about the path forward. You know, we will not let everything that he did fade away. You know, other people have stopped talking about it. I haven't heard of it. We are never going to stop talking about it. We're going to keep going for as long as we humanly can. You know, the bigger that we go, more, you know, millions and millions of people will come along. We're going to continue to hold this space. Maybe we then take it, who knows. But the point is that we appreciate David. He paved the way for a lot of us, and now we've taken that baton and we're going forwards with it. So a couple of minutes left, guys. Annie, thank you also for being here and taking notes. Jackknife, appreciate you very much, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Like I say, Prince Royal, let's have a look here. Oh, Crisea, thanks for keeping up our Sundays. It's my honour. Thank you for being here. And for anybody who I haven't mentioned, Lydia, anybody who I haven't mentioned or who's watching and doesn't always comment, appreciate you all very, very much. Know that you've got my deepest love. You know, it's a long time to spend together, and you do an amazing job of doing it. So we're getting there, guys. About 40 seconds left. Deanna says rewatching late. That's no worries. You can go back over the replay. This has been a really, really full live. We've gone through a lot of stuff tonight. So appreciate you all deeply. Anika, absolute pleasure. So know that I love you guys very, very dearly. I wish you the absolute most beautiful week. I will try to get back to as many people as possible. I have less things on this week than I did last week. You know, I will still work on the pages, but we'll see how we go. So love you all lots. Should we try and do 3-3-3? What do you think, guys? Should we try and do all the way, all the threes? So I've got to do it in 3, 2, 1.